Happy Thursday, everybody, Delaware Valley and beyond. Hope you're having a great day on this rainy morning, but don't worry, it's going to clear up. Our local meteorologist, John Kincade, let us know by 11 o'clock it should be out of here. So we should be good to go for a Phillies game today. Ray, talk for 1 second. We got Ray Dunn here. I have the wrong mic protector here. I have to switch it out. My apologies.
Hey.
Ray Dunn is here with us today. He is going to be my co-pilot. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing fantastic. Great to see everyone. Excited to be in the studio for the next 2 days. I'll be here with Amy tomorrow, but good to be with you today, Bob.
Oh, it's great to be with you today. Josh Safran is going to be our producer for today. I'm still trying to figure his ass out. I got to be honest. Now, Josh, good dude. Very good dude. On the young side, like your age, Ray.
Yeah.
You guys went to college together, if I'm not
true.
mistaken. Have many of the same friends, have shared a lot of same girlfriends. But, so Josh has this thing where what do they call, what's his nickname? All right, I already got you. What's his nickname again?
They call him John Wilkes Booth.
No, I know that because of the look-alike. But the other day, what was it? What is
Positive Josh.
Positive Josh.
Yes, always has a smile.
This dude, I bent over to tie my shoelace today, and he was laughing hysterically. He finds everything in life fun and funny, and I appreciate that. As a guy who looks for the sunny disposition, I appreciate you, Josh. So welcome to the Midday Show.
Thank you. Someone's got to be the ray of sunshine.
Okay, turn off your mic. That's enough.
All right, fine.
Anyway.
You are so ready for vacation.
I am. Yeah. Ray walks in today, and I must have said something 2 seconds after he was in. He's like, "Oh, good Lord, you're halfway out the door already." But I am not. I am here to give a positive, fun, maybe even a well-thought-out 4 hours of sports talk radio. But before we can get into any of that, here's Josh's first big test of the day. We have to see what's on the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Well, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is at 1:30 today, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins will be joining the show. 1:30, Brian Dawkins is going to join the show. We'll talk to him. He's got a golf outing coming up next week next week, right? Yeah, the 3rd. Is that next?
It's not next Monday, the Monday after.
Okay, the Monday after
Yes.
that. So we'll have Brian on to talk about that and all the benefits of that great golf outing where myself, Amy Fadul, and yes, Ray Dunn will be broadcasting live. All right, the Phillies last night, you know what they did again, Ray? They answered the call. It's going to become my theme. Thank you to my brother-in-law, Lou. They get down 2-0 after 2 innings. Yawn, stretch, come alive, boom, 11-4 win. They're now 36-14 after 50 games. Best they've ever been after 50 games. They're still 6 games up on the Braves, who did win last night. The Texas Rangers last night, your World Series defending champions, well, they were putrid in the field. Absolutely putrid. 4 errors, which led to 4 unearned runs by the Phillies. The bullpen last night, Strom, Soto, Kerkering, Ruiz, they go 4 1/3 innings, just 1 earned run. Soto gave up a home run, 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts after Taijuan Walker went. Edmundo Sosa comes up with the big hit. Ticks me off, boys. It ticks me off. He hits a 3-run homer, puts him up 6-2. So I'm out back doing some cleaning up. I brought TV out back, was watching it there, right? The Rangers make a pitching change. Oh, cool. All right, I'm going inside. Let me unplug the TV, carry it in, go upstairs. Innings over. I was like, oh, shoot, I must have missed something, whatever. They come back, post up a score, 6-2. I'm like, wait, what? I missed the home run. That quickly, I missed the home run. Sometimes
These games happens fast.
they score just even too quick for a little run up the steps. JT Realmuto goes 2 for 5, 3 RBIs up to 284. I really, really, really like him in the 2-hole. And I think he likes it there also. He's got a 12-game winning streak. As I said, the best record ever through 50 games. 5 straight wins for the Phillies. They've won 17 of 20, 17-3 over their last 20. They're now 21-8 at home. They've won 17 of their last 19 at Citizens Bank Park. They're doing all this. It's phenomenal. It's terrific. Oh, yeah, by the way, for the last 16 or so games, they've been missing a guy from the lineup that was being talked about as seasonal MVP, and that's Trey Turner. Trey Turner was in the batting cage, I think, for the second time yesterday. Let's not forget that when he went out, he was hitting .343 with a couple of home runs, 10 doubles. 9 RBI, 10 stolen bases. Listen to all that. 10 doubles, 9 RBI, 10 stolen bases, 343 in only 137 at-bats. Ladies and gentlemen, as good as this Phillies team is, they're getting that back. Saturday, May 4th, is the day that he got hurt. 6 weeks out would be to the second week of June. I'm going to ask you guys a question about that, about how you handle Trey Turner moving forward. So today, the Phillies go 1 o'clock. Zach Wheeler against Andrew Haney, who was 0-5, left-hander, 0-5 with a 4.43 ERA. It's right out there for the taking. Go get him, Zach Wheeler. Eagles OTAs yesterday. Darius Slay and Saquon Barkley spoke. We're going to get into a little bit of that. I don't read too much into it, but there was a couple of things that I really liked hearing out of those two guys yesterday, so we'll get into that. Sixers, LeBron James. Nah, I've already said enough that I wanted to say about that. I think we all, but one person, feel the same about him here at the station. Some good news locally, basketball-wise. It appears, Ray, you read the tweet. Who was it again who tweeted it out?
Jeff Nyberg.
Jeff Nyberg, who I used to work with at the Daily News. The Big Five Classic looks like it's going to be coming back again this year. I thought it was awesome last year. We were all out there. 3 games on a Saturday. So much fun. So many great people to see. It was awesome. St. Joe's and Coach Billy Lang came out as your winners on that last year. So I hope they do it again this year. On the national front, NBA, Dallas Mavericks win Game 1 in Minnesota last night. Pretty good game. Back and forth. A lot of good stuff there. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they combined for 63 points in the 108-105 win. Tonight you have Game 2, Indiana at Boston. I did okay predicting that first game, Ray, between Indiana and Boston. Remember I said I think they're going to play really well at the beginning of the game and make it close, but I think Boston's legs will win out at the end. I was wrong at that part. Indiana lost it at the end. Boston didn't so much win it at the end as Indiana lost it. I don't like Indiana tonight. I don't. I think Boston will have enough to kind of make that a little bit one-sided. Hopefully I'm wrong because I like watching good games. In the NHL, Florida Panthers went up to Madison Square Garden last night and shut out the New York Rangers 3-0. I went back and forth. I was watching that a little bit. I had a chance to watch like a lot of it with about 8 minutes to go, and the Panthers were up 1-0, and the Rangers put on a barrage of shots on our old friend Sergei Bobrovsky. He was phenomenal. Made some unbelievable saves there. The frustration of the Rangers really started to come out. Finally led to a Florida Panthers 3-0 win in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And tonight, Edmonton Oilers at the Dallas Stars in Game 1 of the Western Conference Final. So there's your front page news on this Thursday leading into a holiday weekend. Raymond, how are you? How was your night? Did you attend another Phillies game last night?
I did not. No.
Okay.
No, I got a chance to celebrate my high school broadcasting teacher's retirement. So
that is
very
awesome.
Excited for her.
Why don't you congratulate her?
Congratulations, Merge. Very happy for you.
Yeah, her full name is
Cheryl Merja.
And she taught
broadcasting.
Where?
At Springford.
At Springford. So congratulations to Merge.
Yeah.
We can't wait. 5 more days of teaching?
Yeah, something like that.
She gets to retire?
Yeah, not that she's counting or anything.
It's people like her that you love. Like the morning show talks about leaders and leaders and leaders. I'm not big on leaders, as you know, when it comes to professional sports, because when it comes to leaders, you need to have followers. Merge is a leader. Like she is a leader because she's leading people that need leadership.
Most certainly.
Yeah, so
I mean,
congratulations to her.
You could say I definitely need a leader.
If I do meet her, I want to congratulate her because in you, I'm sure that's what her career was all about. And I'm being honest there because you are special, Raymond. No matter what.
That is why I was not at the Phillies game last night.
Okay. So we forgive you.
Yes. I haven't been in, I think today marks
almost a week.
Yeah, today marks a week.
Wow.
It's been a while.
I think if anybody's down there today and they see a milk carton and it has Ray's face on it, just know that he can't go today either.
I'm here.
Yeah, because we are here. Yes. I got a buddy texting me last night. Hey, I got 4 tickets for tomorrow. Me, you, and who else? And I was like, you do know that I work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's in a previous life. These day games were a thing for me. Now, I'm here.
Yeah, we're just here. All right, start the show off. I wrote this down last night after the Phillies game was done. It was coming into my mind while the Phillies game was going on. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I read the AP story today about the Phillies game last night, and the writer for AP said, yeah, the only peskiness last night was that the Phillies got down 2-0 before they wound up shellacking the Texas Rangers. Like, that's the expectations right now of this team. It never came forth more for me than last night. JT Realmuto's up to the plate. Bases were loaded. And I swear to God, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I wasn't thinking I hope you get a hit. I was just wondering what kind of hit it was going to be. That's where I am with this Phillies team right now. It's not just Realmuto. It's Bohm. It's Stott. It's Harper. It's pretty much everybody in this lineup. I even think Kyle Schwarber gets base hits now.
He does. It's wild. It's a lot of fun. And when you look at this group, even the losses over this, basically month stretch, like their last 4 losses have been by 5 runs. They're in every single game. Every single game they play, they're in. And we've seen plenty of examples where, if they go down early, that's fine. They'll just come back. They believe it. They believe it. It's like almost, it's kind of scary. The like business-like approach to just systematically dominating you night after night after night. And you saw it again last night. Oh, got down 2-0. That's fine. We'll be fine. 11-4, your final.
11-4, yeah. Texas did help out an awful lot with some horrible field.
They're
like Seager let one go through his legs that you don't see that all that often. The flip to second base where the second baseman. Now, I don't know what the second baseman was singing because his first reaction when he got the ball was his arm went downward. He didn't like pick up his arm like he was going to throw it overhand. It went downward as if a lob, and the guy ducked his head and he missed that, and boom, Phillies take advantage of it like that. That, to me, is the sign of something special, Ray, when you take advantage of everything.
And it's the sign of just, I guess, the change in the times. Because we remember those games where it's like, the Phillies can't get out of their own way. Now we're just watching them. Another team basically has to play perfect and then some to beat this team. Because if you give them just a little bit of breath, they're gonna be full of life and take it right from you.
Yeah, Bohm last night hits a flare at best. And sure enough, it falls. And Texas doesn't cover second, and he takes the extra base. There was a lot of talk last year, and John was big on this, and I understood it, although I kind of went against it a little bit. He was talking about the stupidity sometimes on the base pass. I don't like stupidity at all. In that regard, I agreed with him. The aggressiveness on the base pass, it's hard to balance the two. Things are going to look bad sometimes when you're aggressive. This year, I think they're being ultra aggressive. There's been some pickoffs. There's been some thrown out at home, second, whatever it may be. But it's all been overshadowed because you are 36-14. I'm not taking any aggressiveness away. No chance.
Not right now. Not like you're pushing every right button. For me to be upset about base running right now would be wrong for me. Really.
Yeah.
At this point, it's hard to find something for me that I'm sitting there pinpointing like, wow, that's not good. I don't like that right now. Like, okay, the way Castellanos is batting. Give me anything else. Find me anything else.
And he went 3 for 4 the other night. I mean, he's got to get out of this.
Right, and his numbers are down because he got himself in a hole. Like
he got himself in a huge hole.
He's hitting, I think, like 260 since April 30th. Like, that's not, wow.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I am shocked at that.
Yeah, it's not like, wow, that's crazy numbers for a guy what you paid him, but it's not like he's been the total negative that he was the first month of this.
And what I do like about what's going on with him, and it happened twice last night. One time he was at 1-1, and a ball was outside. It got called a strike. Barely outside, close enough to get called a strike. It wasn't, but it was. But he wasn't flailing. He saw it. It should have been 2-1. Another time he was at 2-0, and a pitch was borderline. It was a strike, but he had a good hitting count at 2-0. He took it. Like, he's at least, if you're looking for little things, I don't think he's flailing as much as he does when he's really bad.
Yeah, and to keep with the outfielders here, I think Marsh is starting to see the ball better again after a 3-week stretch where he was real bad.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think we're seeing guys that, and it's funny because we're talking about guys that are struggling amidst a stretch where they've been scorching on, amidst the best start in franchise history. Like, that's where we're at. It's like, oh, yeah, this guy seems to be coming on. He's coming on at a time where they're 36-14.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary to think how good this thing can be when they're all humming at the same time.
And Bryce Harper is secretly becoming scary. Like, it's not, Bryce Harper, when he's good, it rules your day. Maybe this hot streak of the team, maybe that others are doing it also, But when you look at it, because I don't know if it was Tom McCarthy the other night who said it. He's like, this is kind of the quietest 37, 38 RBI or whatever that you're seeing out of Bryce Harper, maybe since he's been here as a Philly. And why? Because it might be overshadowed by Alec Boehm leading the league, in RBI, for the last couple of weeks, back and forth with that. It could be because you're getting such clutch hitting from different people because the pitching has been so good. I'll take like a quiet, 285, 35, 112 RBI.
So
Bryce Harper.
The last 30 games that he started, just pulling this up for you, because I think it's been kind of underrated what he's been doing, because you see, what Boehm's doing, what Suarez is doing, you see guys ascending to something better than what they were, and the team itself is having success, and we all kind of appreciate greatness in what we have in Bryce Harper, but maybe sometimes it gets overlooked because we become accustomed to it. You expect him to be a superstar. The last 30 games that this guy has started, the team is 26-4 in that time. 9 home runs, 30 RBIs, hitting .327 with a .441 on-base percentage, and he's slugging .627. At some point, it feels normal because it's Bryce Harper. It's not normal. What he's
not
doing
normal.
is incredible right now.
Yeah, it is absolutely spectacular. And again, I'll go back to what I said in the front page. Let's not forget that they had a guy in the lineup that was being talked about as, man, this could be an MVP-type season for him. In Trey Turner, who was batting .343 with 10 doubles, 9 RBI, 10 stolen bases in only 137 at-bats. Oh, yeah, he got hurt. And what are they since then, Ray? 14-3?
14-3.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not bad.
With combinations of Edmundo Sosa at shortstop. Sometimes Bryson Stott moves over there. Whit Merrifield, I'm sure, is going to be in the lineup today with a left-handed pitcher. Josh, if you get a chance, see if you can find if the Phillies lineup is coming out yet today, because I like to get that out to the people, and it usually is out there.
It's out there.
See, I tried to get the producer involved, but the producer, who is now the co-host today, can't switch roles. So go ahead, Ray.
Yeah,
you got it.
I already marked something down earlier today. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't fight the producer
okay.
inside of me. I'm sorry. It's
We're a
tough
team.
for me. All right, your lineup for today. Schwarber, the DH. Real Muto catching. Harper at first base. Boehm at third. Castellanos in right field. Stott at second. And then 7, 8, 9 is Sosa at short. Merrifield in left. And Pache in center.
Okay, so the left-handed bat that you took out today is Brandon Marsh. So the last three were Stott, Sosa, Merrifield?
Stott, Sosa, Merrifield, Pache. That's
Okay.
6 through 9 in the order.
Okay. All right. So that's what you have today. Could be an easy time of it for the Phillies. We're hoping as Zach Wheeler takes them out. Andrew Haney for the Texas Rangers, a left-hander. He's struggled so far. 0-5, 4.43 ERA. Texas is just decimated with injuries. And it was funny, not funny, but today I'm going through reading some of the stuff from last night. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's an injury thing. I don't usually look at that, but I was like, God, Texas is decimated. Let me see how many guys. There's like 11 guys listed. You look at the names on there, from DeGrom to, go on and on. Gray, who pitched the other night and has been pitching well, hurt his groin the other night. So he's out until the middle of the month. There's a lot going on with them.
There's an argument to be made that the best pitching rotation in baseball right now is the injured list for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, it's right about there, right? Well,
Yeah.
second best. Your best pitching rotation in baseball
I
is
love
right here
my
in
Phillies.
Philadelphia,
I love
Ray.
my Phillies. Yes.
I mean,
They're
I don't know
fantastic.
why
They're
you
the best
hate-
in baseball right now. I mean, they're like a 269 ERA, 270 ERA as a staff.
Yeah, somebody, I think it was the best show ever yesterday, started putting, it might have been Ricky, I'm not sure, putting out some numbers on the staff. Second in ERA. Who's first in the league? Is it the Dodgers?
Is
I
there
don't
someone
know.
better?
There, according to whoever read it yesterday, the ERA, it was there. Hey, I want to tell you that the 10 o'clock hour, well, it's brought to you by Window Nation. I swear that it is. Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. So happy that you're joining us here today on this Thursday before the Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer. I just love it. My favorite time of the year. Non-sports-wise, right? Non-sports-wise.
Sports-wise.
My favorite time of the year. Okay, when we get back, a couple of the Eagles spoke yesterday. There was something that I heard. I was driving home. It was on the best show ever. And it literally did bring a smile to my face, pleasant thoughts in my head. I want to see what you have to think of it. We have a lot on the table today. Like I said, it is the Thursday before. I'm going on vacation. A lot of you may be going on vacation. Let's have a fun day of it. 610-632-0975. My question to you is this. Not a lot comes out of OTAs and all that. Where do you sit right now with the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm a big question mark. I'm on a fence. I'm sitting there like I do a lot. I got one foot on one side, another foot on the other side. I don't like this defense right now. Vic Fangio, great. Okay, we'll see what happens. I don't love the personnel. That's where I'm sitting. Ray might be on another side. You may be yet on another. 610-632-0975. Call and let us know, where are you with the Eagles? Or you can text us at that same number. Josh will grab them and read them to us. I promise you I will try to keep them off the air as much as I can today. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Back on this Thursday, Vacation Thursday for many, as people may be doing their last day of work today before heading wherever you head to celebrate the unofficial start of summer. A lot of people heading down to the shore. Others maybe just doing something that they love, whether it's the Poconos or something. But hopefully you do get a long weekend out of it. I'm going to ask a shore question, or no, I should say a summer question, because not everybody likes the shore and not everybody is lucky enough to be able to get down the shore. So I'm going to ask a summer question coming up in a little bit. Just about maybe some fun little things that you like to do. I want to say hi to our YouTube family today. MBDBF said, Bob, love the shirt. Do they have it in a men's? Wow, that's tough, man. Boom, yeah.
Nice shirt.
I don't usually break out these shirts, but as you said, Ray, I am very much into this summertime coming.
Yeah, I walked in and I was like, yep, that's a man that's just having a long weekend coming up in a few hours.
Yeah, so I hope
he's counting down.
I hope everybody out there's having. I have to throw out. So hello to our YouTube family, who we love and adore. I did get a message from my friend Mopar. I just want to say, without diving deep into it, thank you, Mopar. That's much appreciated. And to everybody out there, we love your thoughts. We love your, comebacks at us or agreeing with us, whatever it may be. We always seem to have a lot of that, which is awesome. That's why we're here. So yesterday, oh, my God, it's right there, right? Football, it's right around the corner. I don't get like that for OTAs. I'm sorry, I don't.
Baseball team's 36-14, Bob. It's really difficult for me to do the whole woo.
Yeah,
they're here. Yeah,
it's tough. I can't. I
Birds.
don't. When I was in the business and you had to write the stories, that's exactly what you do. You had to write the stories.
And from that perspective, I'm interested to see some of the stories that come out of it. I'm going to attach myself to someone in the preseason that inevitably doesn't make the team. That's a part of this. That's a part of the joy of watching a football team 365 days a year. There is someone out there in OTAs right now that I am not positive of their name, that I'll probably mispronounce it at some point. And guess what? Come the end of August, I'll want them on that roster, and I'll be upset that they're not on that roster. And that's what this time is for attaching yourself to guys that you're not really sure what their name is, what their story is, and finding them a roster spot by the time this is all over.
Yeah, it's going to be different this year, too, because, you're looking at trying to find – I shouldn't say trying. 11-6 is a good record, but we know how it ended and all that. But I was looking at the depth chart yesterday when Amy was here with us and the three of us were talking about it. And the fact that Britton Covey, who was one of your bright spots last year, when I say you can point 1,000 fingers at the Eagles and you're right, unless you're pointing them towards Jake Elliott and Britton Covey, you're absolutely right to point fingers at what may have gone wrong. Britton Covey now on the depth chart that I looked at yesterday on our lads is the second punt returner on the team in depth chart.
And we're going to debate it all summer long. 610-632-0975. Who do you think the punt returner should be?
Yes, and of course MBDBF, all love, no question about it. But yesterday, we had Saquan Barkley talk to the masses. I was driving home, had the best show ever on, and Saquan Barkley came to the mic. And I was anxious to hear from him because it always is in my mind. What's it like for a superstar? Guy that was taken number 2 overall. I don't know. Can we say hasn't reached expectations so far in his career? Or, I don't know. I guess we look at it different because he was with a rival team.
Yeah, and they stink. I don't know. I would feel like I arrived if I carried Daniel Jones to a playoff berth.
Okay. All right, then we'll call him a star. So he's a star player coming to a star offense. So I was really interested in what he had to say yesterday and looking at this team from a rivalry standpoint. And this is what he had to say about Jalen Hurts to start off.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've always admired his game from afar, not just Jalen, a whole bunch of guys here. So it's been fun to learn the system, get in the weight room with these guys, get in the field with these guys, especially Jalen, and continue to build something.
It was funny. He was asked about, was there some kind of squat competition going on? And he said, oh, no, it wasn't a competition. It was like the first time I went in and squatted for a while, and Jalen just so happened to be there, and so was Jake Elliott. And we threw some things up and all that. I think there was a little competition going.
Jake Elliott getting a shout-out in the squat competition amongst the two of them. No disrespect to Jake, but that's you got to be thrilled if you're Jake Elliott getting thrown into that.
He's a kicker. He probably squats the hell out of the weights.
Probably squats pretty well. I'm not putting him up in terms of the the two thigh guys right there in Barkley and Hurts.
Yeah, but if you were to go to a team that you didn't know and you say, give me a position that you think can squat pretty good, I might have to go to punter or kicker.
I understand why you would go
Call out the leg for them.
Yeah, but if I'm Jake Elliott, I'm thrilled that I'm getting thrown in that
that's
trio.
true.
Hurts, Barkley, and Jake Elliott.
He also got thrown into it because Saquon Barkley was talking about, like, they asked him, how do you kind of try to, get together with the team, know the guys? He brought up an awful lot of golf. And I think his family's still up in North Jersey. He was saying the kids are still up there, so he doesn't have to look after them every day. So he's got a lot of free time. I guess he's down here, in an apartment or something like that. But he says he goes out golfing a lot, and Jake Elliott is the best golfer on the team. And he said, I'm going to try to get there, but not yet.
Two things out of this golf conversation. One, I'm upset with Kenny Pickett because he's already broken 100 and apparently picked it up a couple months ago. So
Yeah.
I hate that. That bothers me a lot. Great athlete. Good for him, but it bothers me as someone.
Why?
Because I know I'm not going to break 100, and I've been doing it much longer than a couple months. So that really upsets me. And then Will Greer. This was a great point made yesterday by Tyrone on the best show ever. Will Greer right now is a genius. Oh, Saquon, you like to golf? I'll go golf with you. Yeah, I'll make sure. One of the stars you just brought in, I'm going to become an invaluable teammate to that guy.
Is that smartness? I think,
Very smart.
Oh, wait. I'm not allowed to say smartness.
No, you're allowed to say it. I don't give you credit for that.
No. That's okay. Somebody corrected me. Instead of saying, isn't that intelligent, I'll say.
Yeah, it's intelligent. It's the right move. Absolutely. If I'm Tanner McKee, you know what I'm doing? I'm going to find some golf clubs right now because every quarterback is going out there golfing with Barkley. I got to find myself. Maybe that he's doing the whole bowling thing. Maybe they'll find something else.
Yeah.
Because two quarterbacks out there with your starting running back golfing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Barkley was also asked. He said, what do you? They was asked, what do you think about the talent on this team? And he talked about early goings, 7-on-7 offensively, and what he kind of saw.
Biggest thing, that struck me is our first 7-on-7 huddle. You see A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts. It's not a bad group to be out there with, and that's not even including the offensive linemen. But
that's amazing. Think about that. The people that he named, or if you took that quote and closed your eyes, you'd be like, okay, that's a rookie running back that they brought in that was in on that 7-on-7. That's cool that he appreciates those stars. He's the highest drafted out of all those guys that they just mentioned. He had the most upside coming out of college than all those guys he just mentioned. He's only 6 years into the league.
Yeah, it's scary. Like him talking about that group, you start to get, and that's why I think the optimism for people is there, because you think about it in your head kind of as the 7-on-7. You think of, all right, who's really stopping an offense of Hurts, Barkley, Goddard, Smith, A.J. Brown? Put those five guys out there. It's a fantasy football roster. If you drafted that team in fantasy football a year ago,
you'd be happy.
You were thrilled.
Yeah.
You were definitely an Eagles fan, but you would be thrilled.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. I love what he had to say. All right, let's hit the phones here. If you have some thoughts on this, we're talking about Eagles a little bit, but we have a lot of Phillies that we want to get to, too. I see some people on our YouTube page that are still talking about, the competition. I'm so past that. I really am. I think I see more to this team to it. So if you want to check in, 610-632-0975. I'm going to go to Carlos, who is a neighbor of Bryce Harper's in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Carlos, how you doing? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
How are you guys doing today?
Good. Do you and Bryce go out and, talk? Well, he doesn't drink. I don't know. Do you guys throw the football around or anything, Carlos, over there in Haddonfield?
I don't know the man at all. Just a huge fan.
Okay.
My question is, do you guys have any insight as to what the locker room is like with the Phillies? Because in my experience, whenever you have a team that's playing magical like they are, it's all about the chemistry. More so than the talent, it's all about the chemistry in the locker room.
I don't know if I'll say more so than the talent. You can have a team that really, really gets along. If they're not talented enough to win games.
No, obviously the talent matters, but I'm saying it's the chemistry that takes the talent over the top. And do you guys have any insight to what the locker room's like?
From everybody that I've talked to, and thanks, Carlos, appreciate it. Everybody that I've talked to that's on the beat, and that's a lot of guys, and hearing the way the players talk to the media, it seems to be something really special.
And especially when you're looking at baseball. Like, again, it's not more so, but when you talk about the grind of 162 games, you talk about just getting in there day in and day out, like, yeah, it matters a good deal when it's like, all right, you're going to get to a point in July where it becomes a mundane thing of every day we're doing the same thing. I think it matters a lot with baseball. And I think right now you can't say that it's anything but fantastic what you've gotten so far from this locker room for the Phillies.
And it's such a myriad of things of how it gets there, right? So obviously it starts with personalities. And you have the daycare that comes along, and Stubbs is the guy that, kind of stirs all that. You have the friendship between Bohm and Marsh, who live together, and they're like best friends and call each other brothers. But I don't know if all of that comes about as easily if you don't have a manager that's cool enough to oversee it and see how it plays out and let it go. And Rob Thompson yesterday was asked about, and I like the cool way he handled it, about how much winning this team is doing and what it might mean moving forward.
This is the best 50-game start since the 2001 Mariners. 116.
What'd they do?
They won 116 games. They were pretty good. But
they won on what?
116.
116. But what'd they do at the end?
They did not win the championship.
That's right. So you got to keep going. It's you just got to keep grinding, keep pushing all the way through.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And I have a feeling that I think it was, who was it the other day? It was Kyle Schwarber, who talked the other day like, look, we're not going 162-0, but I do know that we get pissed off when we lose a game, and I do know that we're out there to win every game, and we believe we can win every game. To our caller that just called from Adam Carlos, yeah, this locker room, you're asking about the locker room, it seems to be tight as can be. Tight as a drum, Ray.
Absolutely. And they might not go 162-0, but I got them at 148-14 right now.
Okay. All right, I'm right there with you.
Might not lose another game.
They might not. Totally agree with you. Okay, when we get back, Mark, I will get to you. Sorry we had to go to a break here. And anybody else, 610-632-0975. This Phillies team, like, are you upset about the schedule? Does that even come into your mind? I look at them as a team that I think they're going to play this way no matter who's in front of them moving forward. Eagles, are you excited right now? OTAs, I don't really get there. I know it's a little bubble in the water of football, which is always cool. But where do you sit as far as that goes? You can text us or call us, 610-632-0975. Ray Dunn is co-hosting with me today, which is awesome. Bob Cooney, middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 97.5, The Fanatic. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Weather's going to clear from what I hear. Our local meteorologist, John Kincade, said right about now it should stop raining, should clear up for your Phillies game today, 1 o'clock start. You can watch them on TV as you keep the radio up or your app up, whatever it may be, and keep listening to us here as Ray Dunn joins me today as a co-host. Ray, it's so nice to have you in this studio as opposed to having to look through glass to see you.
It's quite strange, I'll be honest.
Is it? Because you're either big
feeling.
chair in here or you're in the other studio.
Pretty much at this point. This second chair, I haven't been in this one in a while. And the second chair, they describe it as that, and it really feels that way.
It's low.
Yeah, it's a low chair, and I've tried to cycle through a couple of these chairs. I don't really want to upset Brandon and the whole YouTube operation by continuing to move around and making, his job more difficult. But I have not gotten comfortable in this seat yet. It's too low for me. I don't feel like I look at myself on YouTube.
Don't like it.
I like the shoulders are really getting in a weird spot. I don't feel very comfortable physically comfortable. I'm very comfortable sitting and having a conversation with you in this studio. But physically, I have not yet gotten to that comfort level here. I'm hoping by maybe 11:30 I find a comfort zone sitting here. Otherwise, you
might have to get that other chair in the studio with Josh today, and Josh Safran is our producer today.
Well, then I don't want to be too tall for the mic. It's a whole process.
He can adjust. Don't worry.
I'm struggling.
Yeah. There used to be a thing with Johnny Carson, Letterman, and stuff that the host's chair would always be well above the guest's chair because it has you a feeling of power.
Correct. I feel powerless.
Yeah, when I used to be in here in the morning, I would take this chair that I'm sitting in now and move it to that spot because I had to have this chair. And John was nice enough to take the lower chair. No,
I've just gotten so used to that specific chair.
Yeah. I feel powerful over you. I feel power over you right now.
I feel powerless.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Is there another chair over there?
I think you'll be all right.
Now that one's. And it's a certain back too, because I'm 24, so my back kind of bothers me, and it's tough.
You get no sympathy from me here.
I understand.
You know how much I love you. All right, so a couple things today that I'm going to get into, and it's fun things. One is going to be, and I'm going to get to our callers here right now. One is, what's like a little thing in sports that bothers you a little bit? And Ray will tell you, I just made a phone call during the break because I had to find out about a rule on something, and I'll explain it later. But is there a little thing in sports that just kind of bothers you a little bit? I'll give you mine probably at the 11 o'clock hour. But I want you to think of it when you call into us with your sports thought, 610-632-0975. I don't want a big answer like the Dallas Cowboys, they bother me. No, I'm looking for little tiny things because I'm also going to ask another question later on about the summer, kind of concerning the same thing. But let's get to the phones. Karate Mark, our man, our myth, our legend. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mark?
What's up, Bob? I hear you go on vacation at 2 o'clock today.
Maybe even 1:30. Who's going to be able to notice?
And bonjour, Ray. What's up, brother?
How are you? I'm sorry, I don't have my French right in front of me, so I can't give you anything back aside from bonjour.
Hey, living the life here as a Philly fan. Very exciting right now. The Phillies on field, A+. Eagles on paper, looking really good. Sixers, 13 available roster spots, a ton of cash. I'm just living a non-stress, very exciting, very happy, chill Philadelphia sports team right now. Love it.
All those words that you use, Mark, for people that don't know you, described you. Chill, fun, happy, all of that describes you. Is it fair if I were to say to you, yeah, but Mark, I'm going to be a realist. I don't think the Eagles are great on paper on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, defensive side of the ball has definitely got some work to do. The offense looks great in an offensive-driven league. So that's definitely what we got to look at. But as you can see, where we failed the past couple of years was the defense. So that absolutely does need to be addressed. And I got faith in the squad. I do.
Okay. All right. Now, how you like watching these NBA playoffs, Mark?
For the first time in a couple of years, I've not only watched intently and enjoyed it. The last couple of years, the Sixers just broke our heart. This year, I believe they tried hard. They just simply lost. So I'm thoroughly enjoying the NBA playoffs this year. And my God, these down to one basket, 1 minute left in the game. That's what NBA playoffs are all about. And it's just been as delivered. We got new teams, We're going to have a new champion this year, and I'm just loving it.
All right, buddy. Listen, I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. You and Alicia have a great time. All right, buddy?
See y'all. Love y'all. Happy holidays, everyone. See you, Philly.
All right, love you, buddy. You be good.
Merci de votre appel. Thank you for calling.
Ah, very good.
Except
Look at
that was
you.
a little too much Spanish stank on that.
It did have a little. Yeah, it did.
Votre appel.
Nah,
Yeah, I can't do
you
it.
got to try it again.
Yeah,
One more time. Try your French. Think of the stuff that you say well in French, like bonjour.
Bonjour.
Merci. Carry it over.
De votre appel.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right, that was a lot better. Josh, can you speak any other language at all?
¿Cómo estás?
Yeah, not
That's
good
it.
enough. No,
Yeah.
a little down.
Good job. That guy took Spanish in high school.
Josh is like 3 for 3 behind the scenes. There's little things that he has to, do to help me out because I'm an idiot and stuff like that. So I got to give him his kudos. He is 3 for 3 today. So far, so good. Because I'm being honest, I have a little skepticism. That's how I am. That's how I roll. You got to prove yourself to me, Josh. You and I have never worked together. So today there's a little, you're on a tryout.
We actually have worked together, Bob, which makes it more concerning how forgettable that performance
Well, you're a
was.
9-hole hitter so far. You got to try to work yourself up.
Can you get Wally pipped while being in the other studio?
No, you cannot.
I don't know. I'm curious. He's 3 for 3 early on. I don't know if I've had a 3 for 3 hour with you.
Well, Ray was the original Wally Pip, was he not?
Well, yeah. I mean, Andrew will tell you that the back and forth.
That's a good one.
Yeah, the back and forth there between Andrew and I was. I don't want to be in that conversation. No, we're not doing that.
You brought it up. It's your fault.
Oh, you said he was 3 for 3. I was impressed.
He's just having a good day.
Yeah,
There's no Wally Pip action going on here.
Good.
All right, when we get back, talking about Eagles a little bit today, OTAs yesterday. Darius Slay also spoke yesterday. There was some talk about it on the morning show, which was interesting. I don't put a whole lot into words that people say. I like what Saquan Barkley said. I thought it was interesting. We'll listen to what Slay had to say and go on that. And also, want to hear what you have to say. Where are you with the Eagles? Where are you with the Phillies? It's hard not to say you're all in with the Phillies, but when I look at our YouTube page and sometimes the callers that we get, yeah, but the schedule, I'm way past that. I think it's much better than that. And also, the little asterisk that we'll put on your phone call. What's a little thing in sports that bothers you or that you notice? Because I have one, and I'll give it to you when we get back. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. welcome back to the 11 o'clock hour here on Middays. Bob Cooney here, joined by Ray Dunn as my co-host today. We got Josh Safran producing. We will try to keep him off the air as much as we can, but he has a penchant for turning on that mic and trying to say something. Ray, we can't control that from in here, can we?
No, I haven't found a way.
Yeah,
No.
Well, we'll just try to talk over him.
I figured
when
you would
we
find
can.
a way.
Yeah, I might.
With me, I figured by this point you would find a way to mute.
Nah, I'm just going to give Josh a hard time all day today, much like I did when you and I first started working, because it's kind of a feel-out process. You know, it's jabs, it's, little body shots here and there. Just, see how he takes it.
What if he comes back with a haymaker? Are you prepared for that?
Absolutely.
Are you
I
sure
would
you're
enjoy it. Oh, yeah, I would enjoy it.
I think he could stun you.
That's fine.
He could stun you.
It ain't the first time I've been stunned, I'll tell you that. All right, I want to remind you, 1:30 today, Brian Dawkins will be joining us to talk about not only his golf outing that he has coming up, which is so awesome, and a golf outing which myself, Amy Fadul, and Ray will be doing the show on June 3rd. But just about a lot of things, sports in general, and of course, your Philadelphia Eagles. We have a lot of callers here about the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to start with Edith in Chester. Edith, how you doing? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hi, how you doing, Bobby? How you doing, Ray?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about the Eagles. I really am. I can't wait for football to start. I'm just concerned about the edge. I'm just not sure, what's going to happen with the edge. I really don't have that much faith, I guess, in Smith, and he looks like he's too small to play that position, and I don't know.
Well, it's funny, Edith, you started off by saying, I'm really excited about the Eagles, and the tone of your voice as you talked went down and down and down. And I think you got to the level, Edith, and no, that's okay. I think you got to the level of toneness that I start, because I am really, really concerned about this whole defense.
Yeah, I am too.
I mean, you make a great point about the edge rushers. I don't even know who their linebackers are. And we know the names, but I don't know what they are. You have a lot of young players back in that secondary. You talked about defensive edge. Also, the defensive line, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, they're on proven years already. So I think there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, they are. So I'm just going to sit back and wait and see what happens. I'm hoping that, my prediction is 13-4.
Okay.
I think we can do 13. I think if everybody gels like they should, and I don't predict us collapsing like we did last year. I just don't believe that's going to happen. We got some new coaches. We got new talent. So I really have I really feel good, but I'm still hesitant about the defense.
Okay, me too, Edith. I'm right there with you. But 13-4. Listen, hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend.
You too, Bobby.
And keep listening to us. We really appreciate you, Edith. We always have. So it's funny, Edith, like I said, she starts off with that high-pitched, I'm really excited, and then it comes down after like 40 seconds and her voice gets monotone. And then she ends it with, I'm really concerned about the defense, so I'm thinking 13-4. Wow.
And, I mean, it goes back to, I think Karate Mark said it. Edith kind of goes with it. Back to what we were saying about the 7-on-7. That is what people are making 13-4. This team is 13-4 in your mind because you look at that offense, you're like, an offense like that can't possibly in this league not get you double-digit wins, and then, all right, you find a way in a couple more games. Like, I think people just, like, automatically, when they look at the talent in this offense, they're like, all right, I'm going to chalk up this many W's because they're that good, and they'll find a way to win a few more with that defense.
How do you defend against this Eagles offense?
Well, it depends what version of Jalen Hurts you get, what they've changed with this offense. Like, I think,
Go ahead. No, dive in a little bit. How do you try to curtail this Eagles offense?
If I'm trying to curtail this Eagles, I guess I'm starting with A.J. Brown, and I'm trying to take that away as much as I can. But, like, if I start to try and take him away, what is that going to open up for you rushing? Like, I don't think there's any road where...
Yeah, there is.
You think there's a road? Where is it?
The diagram is already out there.
Okay.
You keep them off the field.
Oh.
And it sounds silly, but I'm serious on that. The Washington Commanders have done it 3 times the last 4 times they've played them. They've built the roadmap of how to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's to keep the offense off the field. Does this defense come up big enough to get the other team's offense off the field so that the offense can come on? That is why I am so concerned. I just don't know. And it's a real question mark in my mind. Yes, I think this offense can score a boatload of points. They can't when they're sitting on the bench, though.
Yeah, listen, that's part of the reason why you're concerned. Part of the reason why I'm, I put only in air quotes there at 11 wins when we did the whole, hey.
Is that what you are, 11?
Yeah, 11.
Wow. Now, 11 could be, people listen to that and go, oh, that's what they were last year. But that's also what the Kansas City Chiefs were last year.
I also don't feel like last year was an 11-win season. I know it ended up an 11-win season.
Right, exactly, but it was.
But when I was I think they'll probably win 11 games. That's better than last year. No, it's not. It's the same number, but it doesn't feel the same way when I say it. But looking at just that idea and looking at what you can do against this team, I think that's why people are so high on them, the 13 wins, because they think, offensively they're going to be fine. Nolan Smith is one I'm concerned about. The more and more I think about it, the shoulder, the fact that he had to get surgery on that again, that was something that was a problem before when he was in college.
Yep.
Does he bulk up enough this offseason because of the fact that he had the shoulder injury? I get worried because that's someone that, it's for those of you who are too online the way I am. It's oh, no, we've got Hassan Reddick at home. And it's Nolan Smith. You had Hassan Reddick. I don't know.
And Hassan Reddick, I'm sorry, he probably made those other edge rushers that much better. He ain't there no more.
Yeah.
So Bryce Huff is a huge question mark in my mind. Terrell in Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Terrell, what's up, buddy?
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
So I'm a huge video game player, and I like to play Madden from time to time. And I was thinking when I was playing Madden yesterday, because I updated the rosters, who is going to be our tackler on defense? I have no problem on offense, but it seemed to me like Reed Blankenship, a lot of our tacklers are gone. Fletcher Cox, it was in a lot of my plays yesterday in Madden. I know it's just a video game. Hassan Reddick was in on a lot of the plays. Is Reed Blankenship going to be starting? And also, a thing that I have trouble with in sports, I'm going to say marginal calls on NBA, too.
Okay, so, Terrell, let me ask you something real quick. Going back, when you're talking about tacklers, are you talking about against the run game specifically?
Yes, specifically against the run and obviously the short passes, too.
Now, this is what concerns me, Terrell, right? Because those are the type of plays that teams run against the Eagles to keep that defense on the field.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, Terrell, you and I are exactly on the same page. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks so much for the call. It is a huge, huge concern of mine that this Washington Commanders team, and they are not and have not been talented, have found a way to curtail an Eagles offense. And look, we know every sport is a copycat league. So that's where I'm at. Now, Tara brought up a little thing in sports that bothers him. It's marginal calls in the NBA. I think I have a way to curtail that. I really do. I would love for all the NBA higher-ups to get together and tell the players, shut up. Don't raise your hands. Don't look at me. Don't think twice about it. We're going to call it, just play. We're going to let you play. Just play. We'll call the calls when we see them. And when we don't, they're not going to get called. Just be quiet. Let's go. Let's play. Everything can't be perfect out here. Here's my one little small thing in sports. And it goes back to my friends who are high school referees. Been out with them, had beers with them, stuff like that. Walk onto a court to be a referee in high school. All of a sudden, the hair is perfectly parted. Maybe even some gel in there still showing. They look like they're getting their wedding day or something like that. You get up to the college ranks. I have some college friends who who ref college games. Perfect hair. Everything's in place. I just think it's cool. They're representing. They are in charge out there to look their best. Even if you carry it up to the NBA, you'll see a lot of the guys with the perfect part. Looks like a little razor went right down the middle there or right down the side. It's a little thing that I notice in sports that I'm I wonder if there's kind of a mandate there or something. You got to look your best.
Is that hair envy?
See, I almost said it. No, because I noticed this even before when I decided to grow my hair long. Right. The only reason I have short hair is because I decided to keep it that way.
That's fine.
Okay.
I was just curious.
Maybe it is hair envy. That's good.
It could be.
I'll give you another one of my little ones. And this is kind of bigger, but I cannot stand the dramatization. It starts with soccer, and now it's carried over to, even the NBA, of injuries. Or getting I saw a Twitter thing the other day. These kids had to be 8, 9 years old, and a kid's throwing a pass inbounds and another kid's guarding the kid. So the kid that's guarding him stands there and puts his arm out, doesn't come close to the kid, and the kid jumps back and goes flying. And the poor kid playing defense almost started crying. He's like, I swear I didn't touch him. But they're copying what they see in soccer, in the NBA. I don't like that. It's a smaller little thing, but I can't stand it.
No, you need to get that foul call. Draw that foul, kid.
Oh, that's crap. See, people like you shouldn't play sport. Keep running cross country, okay?
Because that's what you need. Man, you need that foul.
You're an ass. Matthew and Ambler, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Please don't listen to Ray. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great, thanks.
So one thing, just something that annoys me, I would say, is when there's little all the different colored basketball shoes in the NBA. Just like, what's up with no team colors anymore?
Now, that's funny you say that, Matthew, because that all started when one of my kids was playing soccer, and they all started to get the really bright-colored cleats.
Yeah.
Now, he was a kid, but then it started going, and it carried up through to the NBA.
It's ridiculous.
I don't mind it.
Oh, really? Oh, see, I like the white, the black, the team color shoes. I don't really like the pink. I like the cleats aren't bad, but in the NBA, I like AJ Brown when he wore those pink cleats.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so his daughter could notice him on the field.
Yeah, definitely. But back with the Eagles, I think that's kind of ridiculous how the 13 wins are getting thrown out. We might have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL this upcoming season. The most coin flip games out of any other team in the NFL. I think we have probably, I want to say 6 or 7 games that you could flip a coin, and I'm not sure who's going to win with the defense we have. And but the most excited thing I am for the Eagles is our first 2 picks. I think it's really impressive. I think them going to be playing a lot this year is going to be really good for the future. And yeah, I'm excited for the future with those 2.
So Matthew, you put out there that I don't know how people are saying 13 wins. Where do you have them? Maybe as far as wins go, but also where do you think they advance? Maybe come playoff time.
Oh, I mean, I think playoffs is all about seedings. It's all about if you're going to get that first round bye and where you're.
So you have them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they can definitely get out, whether it's a wild card team. But I think, I think the max or the minimum, I think the minimum wins they get and the max is going to be, between 9 and 11. Same thing as last year. The defense, like you guys said, the edges aren't very good. I agree. I have no idea who our linebackers are. That's one of the most important positions on defense. And, yeah, I'm looking at them getting 10, 11 wins, probably a 4th seed in the NFC.
All right. Listen, Matthew, have a great weekend. Thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Right there with you. You have 11 wins.
Yeah.
People throwing out 13. That's high.
It is high. It's interesting also to listen to the way he breaks down the Eagles' schedule and being one of the hardest in the league. And it's not that I'm going to say, wow, you're totally off. I mean, when you look at strength of schedule, I think it's kind of favorable for what they've got. Like, I look at it, and I think the word that was used, I think it was the best show ever. I think they had Tim McManus on. That they all came to manageable. I think it's a manageable schedule. I don't necessarily seeing it as, this crazy difficult schedule the way that Matt kind of laid it out there. But I think we start to get more worried about it because coming into this year, you feel more coin flip games because you're more insecure about your team. There is a lot more security.
But it's legitimate.
Yeah, no, it's legitimate. It's absolutely legitimate. But I think when you start to say coin flip games, I think it was a little bit of an overconfidence a year ago that we had in our team that made you look at it like, oh, yeah, I think they can handle this schedule. I think we've been humbled a little bit by the way last season ended, and that's why you feel like it's more coin flip games this year than it was a year ago. Because if I looked at last year's schedule versus this year's schedule, last year's was more difficult.
Right. And coming off a 14-3 Super Bowl loss season, reason for optimism is right there in front of you.
And I'm not going to say, I'm not going to pretend like I was anywhere off the beaten path of where people were. Like, I was also overconfident. Also thought, hey, this team's going to be really good again this season. I don't want to, make it seem like, oh, yeah, I was right about something.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm trying to analyze a little bit the psychology of his brain right there of, they're coin flip games, but I think we see them as coin flip games right now because we're not as secure about our team, and you only see a lot of the goodness in the other teams. Or a lot of the good things. I know we're trying to get rid of the Nesses.
No,
that's goodness. All the good things.
Yes.
About the other teams.
All the positives,
maybe. The positives.
Yes.
Like me, when I see week 1 against the Packers, all I'm thinking about is how incredible Jordan Love is. I'm not thinking about the other concerns the Packers have. I'm just, wow,
and I'll tell you, it is surprising that there are, I would say, majority by far of Eagles fans, people here that we talk to, they have that as a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, how could you not? I mean, Jordan Love on the other side.
It'll be interesting. I think the Eagles are
respect-
favored by 1, the first line that I saw, if I'm not mistaken. Eagles 1-point favorite. Wes in West Oak Lane, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, Wes?
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
How are you?
All right. Hope you guys enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. I know you're getting out of there a little early.
You too, buddy.
Listen, I'm confident about the Eagles. As everybody else, I feel good about the offense. The defense, if you look back at our Super Bowl team, we got a lot of pressure on the inside, but our secondary wasn't that great. It was like Darby Mills, Rasul Douglas. I think for the first time we have a secondary that we can be confident about, or at least have some bright spots. When you potentially, like this is, speculating, you're marching out Mitchell, TJ, Reed, and Darius on your first week, and you're rotating guys like Bradbury, Cooper DeJean, and Maddox, and Sidney Brown once he's healthy, and Rodgers. That's a pretty solid secondary.
It is. Now, they can't all be here, right, Wes? Like, you can't have all those guys in the rotation. Yeah, who do you think's not going to be here out of everybody you just mentioned?
Bradbury probably won't.
Right.
Sidney Brown, I think they'll keep as long as he can stay on the field. Rodgers probably won't as well. As much as I want to see him come back, I think that's done. But Maddox will be here. Cooper DeJean, of course. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Wes, thanks so much. Hope you have a great weekend, buddy. It's funny that Wes brought that up because it is what I wanted to start the next segment with. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have to make a huge decision when it comes to that secondary. He just mentioned like 8 names, and you can rotate that. No, you can't, because you can't rotate 8 guys during a game. Maybe he's talking about game to game. Oh, yeah, you're activated this week or you're not. I think that's a mistake. I have a really strong feeling on what I would do if I was the Philadelphia Eagles. You look very antsy over there. Is something I'm saying bothering you?
No, I'm antsy to get into this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because I think there's a lot of different ways we could go with this secondary. This is going to be the 53-man roster projection, like, dream scenario for people. This is going to be when everyone's put together 53.
Did you say dream team scenario?
No, dream scenario.
Oh.
No. I would never say dream team.
Okay.
That's not ever.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No, especially looking at this defense, I don't think I would dream team this team. But looking at, like, it's your dream scenario. If you love doing the 53-man roster projections, this secondary was built for you because there's going to be a lot of predictions you can make on who's making this team and who's not making this team. And I'm interested to see Bradbury was the name there. And Rodgers right now might have the greatest disparity of belief amongst people of any Eagle I can remember right now.
Understandably,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like, there's people that are like, yeah, he might be your other starting corner. They'll be like, yeah, if that 53-man roster comes out, he's going to be looking for a job elsewhere.
Wes mentioned another name that I'm kind of concerned about there, too. Mitch in Phoenix. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mitch?
This is what I don't get. This guy Huff that came over from the Jets in free agency, they paid him big money like he's got some proven resume. So why are you so hesitant on him?
Oh, because he played 40 of the snaps last year. He's never played more than 50% of the snaps. He's replacing a guy that played like 80%. That was your best. He's replacing a guy who was one of the best edge rushers in all of football and was your best defensive player last year. They paid him a lot of money. He hasn't really proven it to me yet.
So, in other words, the Eagles are not that smart. Because why would they pay?
No, I said that I have my doubts. Maybe I'm the one that's not that smart, Mitch. But is it not legitimate to have questions about a guy that played not even 40% of the snaps in his career?
I never heard of the guy. I don't remember.
Well, then you have questions also.
Well, I never heard of the guy. I never seen him play. But when I saw the contract, I'm saying to myself, well, the Eagles are not stupid. They've done a lot of good things in their history, especially with the new regime.
They've missed on some, though, too, Mitch, right? Like, nothing's guaranteed, as you obviously know. I'm not telling you anything different. I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence that there's still questions about this guy, Bryce Huff.
Oh, I agree. But the money doesn't make sense that they gave him.
Well, I hope it does. And, Mitch, I hope you have a great weekend, buddy. Thanks for the call. Well, if the money doesn't make sense that they gave him, that means that you're skeptical on it, too. So, it's different. And, Mitch, we always appreciate you calling. Thanks so much. Okay, listen, we got a lot of things out there. I have a question about this secondary. There's two ways this Eagles team can go, I believe. Where do you think they should go? I'll lay that out there for you. We already played some clips from Darius Slay, from Saquon Barkley. Where are you right now as far as the Eagles go? Because we've had time to let some things settle in. Well, it's starting to get started just a little bit, little bubbles in the water that show us that the season is sort of coming up. That, and of course, this Phillies team is just phenomenal. Is the schedule still a thing to you? Because I swear it's just not for me. We got a whole lot on the table. Hope you can check in with us. 610-632-0975. Also, what's a small little thing about sports that might bother you? There's a lot of things out there. We'd love to hear from you. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, Middays. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Leading into the holiday weekend, the unofficial start of summer. And on that, I got to tell you, you need to enjoy Wildwood summer fun at Maurice Piers with Fanatics Deal of the Week. Get one same-day ride and water park combo ticket for just $70. That's unlimited rides on all 3 piers: Surfside Amusement Pier, Mariners Amusement Pier, and Adventure Amusement Pier. And both water parks, Ocean Oasis Water Park and Beach Club, and Raging Waters Water Park. Those 6 beach blocks of fun for $70 is only available while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. This is where we summer.
It's true.
Yeah, we're going to be summering in about 2.5 hours, right? But we're going to plug through this show.
You will be.
That's what we're going to do. We have a lot on the table today. We're talking about Eagles. We're talking about Phillies. And we'd love to hear from you. And little things that might bother you about sports. I got a couple of texts on it that I'm going to read to you that were really good. But if you have thoughts on that, 610-632-0975. And Josh, we have some texts on these subjects.
Indeed we do. Well, first we got a text on Eagles defense. Coming from our buddy from YouTube, good old Josh Sass over here. He says, I'm starting to get the feeling this season is going to be real Buddy Ryan-ish. Defense's only job will be to not lose the game for the offense.
Which was exactly the opposite of what Buddy... Yeah, I know what he's saying. Yeah, Buddy Ryan had the defense win the game, offense just do enough to score more points for the other team. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like, look, offense is going to score 30, defense... Just keep the other team to 1 point under what the offense scores, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant because last year I felt like, oh, yeah, they're just going to out-offense everyone. That didn't really go that way.
No, it didn't.
No.
I blame you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take the blame for last year. I do remember the fact that I couldn't tackle, the fact that I couldn't make a stop, and the fact that I told them don't throw the ball in the middle of the field while on offense.
Okay, so you admit it.
So, yeah, that was actually me. Right. I was actually the mastermind behind Sirianni's offense.
Admission by Ray Dunn. What else do we have, Josh?
We got a nameless texter mentioning that John Heyman tweeted the Phillies haven't beaten anyone with a winning record, but the texter points out there are only 12 other teams with a winning record besides the Phillies. Hard to beat good teams when there aren't that many.
Yeah, and only 5 of them are in the National League.
Yeah, tough.
Like, and I think that includes the Phillies. Hey, sorry, baseball's a game where you just got to beat who's in front of you. Yeah, they're fine.
Again, this is the weird thing about this schedule conversation. It's not like this is a 10-game stretch where they played, the Marlins twice within it, and they also played, give me another,
Colorado.
The Rockies,
who
are coming up. So now that we throw the Rockies out there, the Rockies are going to win the series and we'll all freak out. But, it's not like it's a 10-game stretch. This is a 50-game stretch in which they've won 72% of their games. We don't need the test. They've passed a test here. Every series right now is just homework, and they continue to get it done. They continue to do it right. They're fine. God, I hate this schedule. The fact that we have to keep doing this. Yeah. Stop. Please. I'm begging Heyman. It was Heyman and what? Who else?
Nightingale, I think.
Nightingale also threw out a tweet there last night. Leave us alone, man.
That's all right. Let him have at it.
No.
I'll just stick to what Buster Olney said at the beginning of the year, and that was that the Phillies and the Yankees are going to play in the World Series. And I'll also stick to what Tim Kirchin said the other day, in that the Phillies are the best team in the National League. Oh, wait. No, they're the best team in baseball. So I'm good with those guys. What else do we have, Josh?
So on the side topic, 3 people all complaining about the fouls. No surprise.
Yeah.
And then Jim from Souderton, he says...
Oh, that's the one I was going to read because he texted me also.
Okay, he goes, I can't stand it. You get high five, pat on the butt, or for your 4 other teammates. When you take a foul shot, you get slapped if you make it or you miss it. Either way, it's totally stupid. It's just making a foul shot. It's one of the easiest things to do in all of sports. I would put an end to that ridiculous trophy culture mentality and action. Bob, do you agree?
I mean, it's kind of just a get-together thing where you smack the 2 guys' hands that are in the lane, you put your hands behind you, the 2 guys behind you smack your hand, and you move on. No big deal whether you make it or miss it. It's just like a unity thing. So why do you have this look on your face, Ray?
How in the world does that bother you?
Oh,
Jim,
okay.
I love you, but what?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. You know what did get to me a little bit for a while there, and this is years ago? The huddling at every stoppage. Like Duke was real big into it, and I'm talking years ago. You get a dead ball, 1 and 4 fouls call. Come here, huddle up, guys. Like, what are you saying in those 2 seconds? Let's go. or what?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the reviews and how long the reviews take is one of them that drives me nuts, because then everyone huddle, like the review happens, everyone gets together, and then somebody starts to deliver a point, and then you have to break up that huddle, and the referee has to go break. It's like a whole process now. It becomes a whole long, drawn-out thing. So I understand that with stoppages, but the high fives making a free. This was the town that watched Ben Simmons for years. Celebrate making a free throw. That's a point. I like points. Put points up on the board.
But I think Jim's point also is they do it even if he misses it. I think it's just
that's encouragement.
It is. It's just become a.
I'm proving his point. Jim's hearing me like, wow. I'm shocked the 24-year-old wants high fives after each free throw, whether it's make or miss. Yeah. Participation trophy generation. There you go, Jim. I proved your point. I'm glad I could do that for you.
Yeah, that that little doesn't bother me. But on those lines that Jim was saying, the little huddle there, and you still see it a lot of times. A foul's called before a guy or a girl goes to the foul line. The team that's shooting the foul huddles real quick, and so does the team that's defending. What? Like, what's said in a second there? That kind of bothers me.
I got one thing for you that bothers me while we're on this topic, the small thing.
Oh, okay.
And this is something that I think is like now been out of football for 7 or 8 years. The NFL used to have the probable injury designation, and I want it back. Badly.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Probable. There used to be probable, questionable, doubtful, out.
They've dropped the probable.
Probable was dropped. I think it was like 7, 8 years ago, maybe even a decade at this point. I want it back. Okay, questionable is too broad a brush to paint here, okay? I that's like a 50-50 chance. There's some of these guys, like probable, it used to be like 95%. My guy's questionable, and this comes back, this is a very fancy football-driven thought. And I'm sure for some people who like throwing a couple dollars on your sports book of choice, this is also a problem for you. Questionable is too broad for me. Probable was like a 95. I think they said like 95% of the guys who were listed as probable end up playing or something like that. It was like that's why they got rid of it. I want that designation. Give me the probable designation back.
1-800-GAMBLER, Ray. That's all I'm going to say to you. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, buddy.
You're like looking at injury reports. You talked about looking at the injury list for the Rangers. If I'm looking at injury report for a football game during the week, questionable means something like what end of questionable? Like, is the guy trending towards doubtful, or is the guy going to play but has to be listed as questionable?
I'll give you another one. That's good. That's okay, and it does have to do with betting a lot of times, and fantasy football and all that.
It's a little thing to bother.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's perfect. I'll give you another little one that I have. Referees no longer, and the rule needs to be re-implemented in basketball, all forms of basketball. Nobody can throw up a jump ball anymore.
Oh, yeah, you have told.
If you look at it, it's crazy. The ball is going every which way except in the middle of the two players, or the two players are hitting the ball when it's on its way up. It's the first one to. The rule used to be is get the ball at its peak. So they would throw it really high. The players would jump as high as they could to try to win the tap. Anymore, it's nothing. It doesn't look anything like that. And to give the referees some reason for this, it's because of the possession. You don't throw the ball up as much as you used to, so therefore you don't practice. It's basically at the beginning of the game, and that's it. But there needs to be a specialist that can come in and teach referees at all levels to throw the ball up as high as they can, right in between the two players that are jumping.
With your time over the next couple days, we'll get you an LLC. We'll start it. Bob Cooney's coaching for referees.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll coach the referees on this one. We'll open up
just
camps, seminars. Yeah, just this.
Okay.
Please. We're not.
Yeah.
I don't want any more. That seems like a lot more.
Get the ball at its peak. That's all I ever heard when I was playing. Ball at its peak, boys. Boom. Now it's like
you were doing a lot of
gets
jump balls?
First. Well, I was right there on the circle. I could hear the referee.
I'm just wondering.
I probably didn't win a lot of jump balls.
I mean, I was going to be a little surprised if they had you.
I got called for goaltending my last game of my high school career.
Wow. Look at you.
So a kid on the other team went in for a layup, and I went up through the net and knocked it out. So it wasn't legitimate goaltending, but it was funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah, but we lost, so it wasn't that funny.
That's not that funny.
I don't know why you hate me. Ed in North Carolina, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Ed?
Well, talking about the Phillies quick, and I had something else. Phillies this year, you get the feeling they realize we're going to have to play 162 games. It's not just going to come to you at the end of the season. And that team had some players on it last year that made you feel that way, and it shows in the playoffs. My other point is with baseball, why can we not see defensive alignments? With all the time that's between pitches, should we not talk about the defensive side of the game and draw the fans in a little deeper? It's something I really like about radio.
So you mean the guys on TV aren't letting you know where the other team is playing against certain hitters?
Yeah, because, like when you had the shift deal going on, you constantly were being told about the shift. But now you don't really get a view of the whole field. Like you watch basketball, where you open the play, you can see the whole court, you see them bring it down, set up, and then they move in on the player with the ball. Football the same way. Baseball doesn't do that very well, and I think with all that time between the pitches, it's just another facet of the game they could add to it instead of just more bad graphics.
Okay, no, I hear you. Ed, thanks so much for the call. Hope you have a great weekend. Ed does bring up a topic that I like talking about, and it's how TV cameras cover games. And I'm still waiting for the All-22 to be available on regular watching. I don't know why there isn't a camera where you can see the whole field. I would love that in football, whether it's NFL or college, whatever. Okay, I teased a topic that we didn't get to, but I'm going to get to when we get back. I have a big question about the Eagles secondary. Which way do you think the Eagles, as a front office, as a coaching staff, should go? You have two very veteran starters at your corner in Bradbury and Slay. You have a slew of younger players waiting to fill those roles. I have an example that says maybe you should look to go one way, and it's an example that Eagles fans are very familiar with. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Thanks for joining us. Midday show. I'm Bob Cooney. Ray Dunn is joining us at times today. I don't know where he is right now, but whatever, he gets the co-host chair and, he comes and goes as he pleases. Josh Safran is producing, and Josh doing a hell of a job. 3 for 3, started out today with things that he has to help me do. Missed a little something, so he's 3 for 4 now. So 750, he doesn't know what it is, but it's okay. And the fact that you're taking it badly is a good sign. So Josh is starting to work his way up for me. Not that he was very far down, but, it is what it is. Ray, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually when we come back.
Yeah, it's usually a cue to be here.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm not going to tell the bosses or anything.
No, you don't have to. They're listening.
It's no big deal. Yeah. So, sorry. So here's my thinking as far as this Eagles season goes. Specifically, all of my questions with this team are on the defensive side of the ball. And that is with full understanding that you have a brand new center and a brand new right guard. All my questions go to the defensive side of the ball. My question here for you guys is this. You have a plethora, as we talked about and named yesterday, of corners and slot backs and all of that. You have 2 aging veterans in Darius Slay and Bradbury, who could be your starters, probably are number 1 on your depth chart going into the season. Do you, much like the Kansas City Chiefs did against you in the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago, do you wipe out the veterans and just go totally young? Could you do that? Could you say goodbye to James Bradbury? Could you say, Slay, love you, thank you, sorry, see ya? And just say, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, here it goes, here we are. Keely Ringo, I don't know, Isaiah Rodgers is only 26 years old. Hey, guys, here we go. We're building this thing up. Is that a crazy thought, Ray?
So you had mentioned earlier that you're pretty good at sitting on the fence for things. I would sit on the halfway point of this.
Okay.
Of this. Bradbury, appreciate you. Remember 2022? That was a fun time. When we do the reunion of that team, you'll get an invitation. To the 2024 version of this team, no thank you. Slay, you stick around. Slay sticks around.
Okay.
I think you need a little bit of a veteran presence within that room. And I also don't think he was as disastrous as people have painted him out to be a year ago. I would prefer maybe in that conversation where you say, hey, Slay, we're sticking with you. Hey, man, if the defense has a bad game and you want to go on the podcast and talk about it, maybe leave out the part where you say you played a perfect game and the rest of your teammates didn't, quite live up to stuff. Maybe leave that part out. But other than that, big play, Slay, you stick around. They were talking about, and it was the great thing that I think the Eagles Productions put out. Quinyon Mitchell talking, I think it was with Howie, with Jeffrey Lurie, about, oh, yeah, I'm going to be around Slay. I want to learn from him, talk with him, the whole thing. Yeah, I think that's important. I think you've got guys on this team that have actually looked up to watching this guy before in the league, and would it be valuable for them to just learn the league from him, learn a little bit about playing corner in this league from him, and then, of course, just he's still got a little bit left in the tank. It's not that I think Darius Slay has got a number of years in front of him as an Eagle, but if you're telling me 2024, yeah, you stick around, be a mentor here, play your game, and eventually at some point, yeah, I'm sure these guys are going to come on and take your job, but let's keep at least Slay around.
So it's interesting when you look at this defensive secondary, and we'll start back with the safeties, and I think you have your established 2 starters in C.J. G.J. and Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship, I think, could be a good number 2. When you're looking at him to be like, oh, that's our best safety there, then that shows you a little weakness to me on that safety part. Hopefully you get the same kind of season you got 2 years ago out of C.J. G.J. I think Sidney Brown, if that injury hadn't happened, I told you it's like that little black cloud hanging over my head going into this season. I think he might be able to become something special. That's going to get pushed back a little bit because of the injury. Okay, that's that. But let's look at the corners. Now, we mentioned rookies, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. So, all right, we'll see. If anybody is guessing out there, I think it would be the norm that 1 out of 2 of them is going to start. Possibly 2, but I would say 1 out of 2. Bradbury and Slay, we already talked about. Where do you go with them? Avonte Maddox, who was brought up earlier, I feel bad. Good dude. Like you a lot. We had you on the show as a regular guest a few years back. I hope, you and Goddard are still, like, really good best friends.
They're talking smack at the bowling alley.
And he even came to one of our fan fests.
He did?
Savante did.
I believe it's 2022?
I love you, man.
22,
Seriously.
right?
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
And
So-
congrats, you're on the 2024 roster.
I don't know, because if Cooper DeJean shows me that he can be that inside guy, and you have Isaiah Rodgers, and you have multiple guys, and Avante, for all the loveliness that you are, you just cannot stay healthy. I
That's
don't
part
know.
of it.
That's on offense for me also. You also have an Eli Ricks out there, a Zach McPherson who got hurt last year. You have a plethora of guys. I think if I'm the organization, if I'm the defensive coordinator, head coach, I'm looking and I'm telling, if I'm the head coach, this is what I'm doing. Hey, Vic, hey, secondary coach, whatever other people that, coordinator of such and such, keep an eye out there. I'm wondering if we do a youth movement. And I'm wondering if Maddox, Slay, and Bradbury are expendable. That's how I would approach it if I was to go. I know you give it a little bit of a laugh, and believe, I know how threatening that could be. Believe me, but it's in my head.
I don't think it's a total youth movement. I don't see Bradbury here.
Right.
But I think when I'm going through this, I look Mitchell, DeJean, Ringo. I think those are three that I have guaranteed at this moment. May 23rd, they make the roster. Slay, I put in that list in my mind. Those four, and then it's okay. Who beyond them?
Rodgers, you're on the fence about.
I'm on the fence about.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say I want to look at these guys. Rodgers is 26 years old with the year off. I kind of don't mind that year off at all. I don't. Not at 25. He missed a year. To me, it's okay. No big deal. You didn't get, you didn't get hit all year. You didn't expound any energy. Like
You
you're
didn't hit
okay.
anybody all year.
Yeah, that's true too.
Listen, do I think he still has a chance to be a productive player this year? Absolutely. I'm not saying that, there's no shot, but I don't know. He missed the entire season. To just pencil him in as a guy that's going to be a contributor for you it might be a little bit quick for
Right now it is, yes. That's why I'm taking a long look. All I'm doing is putting it in my defensive coordinator's mind. Hey, might be thinking about the youth movement. Look, in a month from now, it could be proven that's a crazy thought. And Slay, wow, he's playing really well. And Avante Maddox looks really good. Okay, fine. But I'm just saying it's on the chalkboard.
So I know that you're not big on leaders per se, but in terms of a veteran presence for young guys, how much do you believe that that's valuable for them?
It depends on the young guys. Like, all right, I'm one of the older guys here at the station, okay? And that's okay. I said it. As long as I say it, it's okay. And look, I could go up to, say, maybe Josh and you, who are of the same age and are very young, and I could maybe go up to both of you and say, hey, listen, really loved what you said there, but try not to be so confrontational with the caller because, look, they're our friends and we might disagree, but I don't want to just act somebody away. Josh could be like, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I didn't think of it. It got the better. You could be like, okay, I'll do what I want and turn around and walk away. Does that make me less of a leader because you didn't listen to me? Or does it make me more of a leader in Josh's eyes because he did? Like, leaders are only made because there's people that follow.
How much is the value of having, if it's just 50%, if Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean, just one of them take to Slay and really understand the league through his perspective, how worth it is that to you?
I guess it's good, yeah. I mean, but you have to read it as a coach.
Right, oh yeah. We're talking,
this kid is unbelievably talented and he sticks to his own.
Yeah, we're talking out here in Ballackinmore while they're down in Novacare. Like, I can't tell you that I think that they're walking out there buddy, arms around each other, hanging out outside.
It could be.
They could be.
Yeah.
Or they could not speak to each other at all, and this is all just conjecture.
It's a good point.
I would take it would take a lot more to part with Slay than it would with Bradbury.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. All right, when we get back, we have a couple of texts talking about some of the little annoyances of sports. I'm also going to give another fun little question in the 12 o'clock hour. But I also want to ask you about this Philadelphia Phillies team. How are you looking at it? How should we look at it? What do you do moving forward? There's a lot of questions I have about the fandom of Phillies fans right now because as great as they are, we're kind of all over the place a little bit. We'll get to that and a whole lot more. Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 12 o'clock hour. Hope you're inching closer to the holiday weekend as Ray inches closer to working the lands in Italy. I have no idea where this conversation went or how it came about, but somehow during the break, Ray said he could see himself working the lands in Italy as a way of getting through life. And I turned to him, and I turned to his, 5'10", 108-pound body and said,
5'11".
Wait, you're working the lands?
Yeah, I am. I'd learned to work the lands. I don't know what it means.
You'd be dead in a day.
That's not true at all. I would be so good. I'd be the most dedicated worker they had.
You could be dedicated. You're not physically going to be able to stay on it.
Oh, I would absolutely stay on it. You just wait.
Tell me what working the lands, according to Ray Dunn, consists of.
I'm going to come back chiseled like a Roman god after working the lands out there in the hills of Italy. Don't you worry.
Well, what's going to get you through before you're chiseled like a god?
I don't know. Just sheer will and determination.
Yeah?
I'm going to put my heart into every single day out there.
Okay. Are you like, mowing lawns, or are you like, encountering wild animals? Like what kind of lands are we? What kind of lands are we laying here, Ray?
It's a very wide array from mowing the lawn to attacking wild animals. I imagine I'm just, if I have to grow some grapes, maybe I'm working a vineyard. I don't know, working the lands, whatever that means up there. I'll find out. I'll let you know. I'll give you a call. I'll call in 610-632-0975.
Yeah, make sure it's a collect call because, I don't see you as a land layer. I got to tell you. I love you to death. I just don't see you with the bandana around your head, no shirt on,
I gotta keep my shirt
through
on.
the fields.
You said yesterday when you were talking to Amy, we're going to come back all more tan. I'm not coming back any more tan after this weekend. I might come back burnt, but I'll have to have my shirt on while I'm working out there. Otherwise, I'll burn to a crisp.
Yeah, unless, you put on lotion, right? There's that thing. Like, it's called lotion.
You can, or you just use less of it. Like, this is a cost-effective thing, wearing a shirt and then just putting lotion on the arms instead of putting it on the whole body.
Good point.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll work the land.
When you get older, you might have a doctor that tells you, look, you can't go out in the sun without a shirt off anymore. You got to wear a shirt in the sun.
I mean, that hasn't happened to me yet, Bob, but...
It might down the road. Trust me, as a fellow Irishman.
Yeah, hey, listen, you're only a few years older than I am, so I'd be concerned that it might come sooner for me.
Did I see a smirk on his face?
Don't look at me.
Said that? Okay.
Nothing.
All right. He is going up in my book. He is his temperature is
I love
rising.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh seems to be the man. All right, Josh, let's get to some of the texts that we had because we were talking about a lot of subjects, and I have another one I'm going to bring up here with the Phillies. But let's close it out with the annoyance, little things, nothing major, but little things that annoy you about sports. And I got to tell you, Jim from Souderton, he texted me. He said, so we talked, Jim from Souderton, his annoyance was when somebody shoots a free throw, miss or make, that their four teammates come up and give them a smack. Josh kind of said, or maybe it was Ray that said, it's just kind of encouragement, no big deal. Well, Jim from Souderton texted me and goes, you know what? You guys are right. You're making me look at it in a different way now. Thank you. So you guys get thanks from Jim from Souderton. But what's some of the other annoying texts that we get? And I have to remind you also, sorry, Josh, that Brian Dawkins is going to be joining us at 1:30 today. Now you can talk.
Thank you, Bob. We got Jim G, and this is a favorite of mine. Why can't Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night football games start at 8 o'clock? They already have a pregame show. Do they really need the extra 20 minutes?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good one.
Right.
8:20, 8:15.
Quality take.
That is a very, very good. Who was that, Jim G?
Jim G.
He's a friend of ours on the YouTube page.
Not
good job,
the Jim G, I assume. Jimmy G, the handsome man?
No, I don't think.
I mean,
no.
it could be.
I don't think. Well, I don't know because John Kincade did say on the morning show one time that he'd marry him. So maybe that maybe Jimmy G did become a fan of the station. It was when he and I were doing more. Yeah, we have. We have it. It's in the. Is
it a drop?
Yeah, it's a drop somewhere.
Jimmy G's on the Rams now. That's really cool.
Yeah. So anything else we have on the text board there, Josh?
Nothing much. We got more people complaining about the Phillies schedule conversation. A lot of people whining about the calls. Yeah, that's pretty much it here, Bob.
All right, well, it's good because that's one of the that's the next topic I wanted to bring up here. And, it's kind of, I look at it as funny. Some people look at it as annoyance at the way people are looking at the Phillies right now at 36-14, at the best 50-game mark to open a season that they have ever had. How you can find annoyance with that, I think that's on you. So I'll ask you, how should we handle this start? And here's different questions for you. Do you look ahead? Are you more cautious on things? For example, Trey Turner looks like he's itching to come back. You have a 36-14 record. Do you look at it differently? Do you change the thinking a little if you're Rob Thompson in a lot of things? I'll lay out some scenarios for you. Okay. First thing is, do you look ahead? Are you handling your pitchers at 36-14 any different than you would if you were 25-25, right?
Now, breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
He's good. He is good.
I was waiting for you to get off. Eagles signed wide receiver John Ross, the 40-yard dash master himself. That is all.
Wow. All right. How about that?
All right.
Go and look at. I'm just.
Yeah, we're going to stat it up and.
So
do all
John
those
Ross.
things.
The comeback, because the last time he played in an NFL game was 2021.
Is that what it was?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Played with the Giants that year. 10 games, made one start, and 11 receptions for 224 yards. Career 62 receptions, 957 yards. We know how fast he could be. This is a nice kind of dart at the dartboard for upside.
Okay.
I'm not, look, how old is he now? 28. Wow, he's 28. That combine was a while ago. That combine was, wow.
7 years?
7, yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, that I no offense, Josh. So I said you're good, and then you gave us what the breaking news was. I think that's a mention. I don't think it's a.
I think some people are going to talk themselves into this.
No,
for sure.
No,
I think someone's going to talk themselves into it.
Nope.
I bet you.
Negative.
I can tell you. We will get one text or one phone call at 610-632-0975 of someone like
say,
"Woo!" That's like,
we got one. Oh yeah.
This John Ross guy.
Oh, stop
Yeah, this John Ross guy. He's pretty quick, pretty fast.
Yeah, he was 7 years ago.
I'm not telling you that I think it's going to work. I'm telling you, for him to break in with breaking news, somebody out there just heard John Ross and was like, "Whoa, lightning speed! Look at that! They got someone that might be something."
Watkins was fast too.
I'm not telling you I feel that way.
Who came in and told you to do that, Dylan?
No one came in and told me to do that.
Somebody walk in and say something to you before you hit the drop.
They walked in.
Who was it?
My finger was on the trigger. I might have been a little trigger happy, Bob, but come
Who was
on.
it? Who came in and told
Matt Menard. It was Matt Menard.
Okay. I like Matt, so I'm not going to blame him at all. This one's on you, Josh.
I'll stand by it.
Okay, so that's the breaking news that we got there. All right, Ray, so let's break this down, how you're handling this Phillies start. Do you look ahead at all? Let's look at fandom first. Do you look ahead right now, and are you saying, all right, when are they going to get a real series? Because that's kind of been the talk among a lot of people. Like, all right, I love the way this team's playing, but when are they playing a real team? Do you look ahead like that at all?
No, I don't really look at it the whole when they're going to play a real team. They got a West Coast trip coming up. We know the West Coast, especially Colorado. The Rockies just are a nudge. But yeah, but they're always to me, whenever the Phillies go out there, I always have the sense of like, oh God, really? They're playing at Coors, the whole thing.
See, I'm that way with the next opponent.
The Giants?
I do. I just never feel comfortable out there.
None of us, I don't think anyone feels comfortable when they go out west to play teams. They had that streak against the Angels that was broken this year. Of course, you go play the Dodgers. Dodgers are a 100-plus win team every year.
I don't think they play in San Diego. I always have good memories of San Diego. They were playing an afternoon game in San Diego when my first son was born.
Aw, that's nice.
I like that.
I liked their trip out to San Diego, too. I thought
that's
that
right.
was
You
a
had
good
a grand time.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, when they're going to play a real team. Like, they've got the Brewers in, 2 weeks, I guess? Is that could be your measuring stick? Like, what haven't you learned that you want to learn about this team?
Well, I think the obvious answer among people would be I want to see them beat good opponents. So that's a question. Can they beat good opponents? Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Because you asked the question.
Do you think that Ranger Suarez, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola all of a sudden forget how to learn or forget how to pitch?
I don't think so, no. The question would be more towards the side of if you're playing a good team, they probably have better pitching than you've seen. So can this batting order keep up the success that they have had so far?
Do you think
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I know you're just playing devil's advocate, but for people that are watching, they're 36-14. This is not a team that's 12 27-23. It's like, wow, they've barely scraped by over 500, but look at all the bad teams they've played.
Because there's more to it than that when you go 36-14. They know how to win.
Yeah.
They expect to win. There is a vibe that goes along with the talent right now that makes this team 36-14.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say, you know what, whatever they do against the Rangers today, which, by the way, they won another series, and whatever they do against the Rockies this weekend, the Giants are starting next week, the Cardinals the weekend after that, none of that's going to count for me. Talk to me on June 3rd when the Brewers walk in here because they have a winning record right now. And guess what? The way things are going right now for this conversation, the Brewers are about to hit a slide because they want to be sub 500 when they play the Phillies. Because everyone apparently just has to be sub 500 when they come play the Phillies.
Also, Rhys Hawkins might not be playing.
That's true. That's also difficult. But like it's a double-edged sword because if they had lost these two games to the Rangers, oh, look, the Rangers are above 500. They're beating the Phillies. The Rangers are now below 500, and they're below 500 because the Phillies have beaten them. The Padres right now, record is below 500 because they got swept by the Phillies. Like, if you start looking at teams' records and you take away the Phillies games, some of them are right around or above 500. Right. But because the Phillies thumped them, they're not at 500. It's just a question. I'm just saying, I'm getting sick and tired of the schedule conversation with people. People are starting to have and this is not directed to you, Bob, it's directed to people that just want to find something bad with what they're watching.
Yeah, but you're scaring me. You're not scaring them.
You're due for one of these a show.
Right.
And when you give me more airtime, you might get two of these.
He does get a blow up. All right, let me go to the next question concerning this about how you're handling the Phillies start. Are you more cautious on things? All right, let me give you an example. So there was a dude that played for the Phillies that got hurt this year. And he was hitting .343 with 10 doubles, 9 RBI, 10 stolen bases in just 137 at-bats. And he did a little hamstring thing at the 31-year-old age, of which he is currently carrying. You know he's itching to get back. And it was a 6-week thing, which would take you to the middle of June. He's out there taking batting practice. He's out there running and cutting. And you know like crazy, Trey Turner wants to be a part of this success that this team is having. Are you more cautious because you can say, dude, love you. Hold on, though, because we're 36-14. We're okay. Or maybe in a normal year, if you're 25-25, 27-23, you say, oh, you're 100%. You're 31. You know your body best. You've been through 162 many times. Okay, you tell me when you're ready. How do you handle that, Ray?
I mean, I think you handle it with when he's 100%. He comes back. I don't think this is. I think the 6 weeks was a generous timeline. I do. I think it was let's give him the most amount of space because if they said, oh, it's 4 weeks, and we'd be sitting here right now. All right, well, we're about 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks into this. When are we going to get to see Trey Turner? And if we don't see him, it's, oh no, what happened to Trey Turner? Was there a setback? Was there something wrong? I think they gave him a pretty generous timeline to work himself back. And right now you're seeing that if he beats it, we're going to be like, woo, way to go. Welcome back, Trey Turner. It's good to have you. I think they were smart in the way they went about, 6 weeks? Tell him 6 weeks. Let's see if we can get it back earlier. And 6 weeks was probably like the max of what they thought he'd be out. I'm bringing it back when he's ready to come back. There's nothing about your record that changes that for me. I want the guy to try and pick up where he left off and keep rolling. The best thing for him is getting back to the dish, getting back in the field and seeing how he feels out there and seeing what they've got in him again.
Now, that's the common sense answer. All right, when he's ready, he's a veteran. I trust him. I'll let him come back when he wants to come back. So no cautiousness on your part, not simply because, but because of the great baseball you're playing right now.
Well, cautiousness can look like something different. Like, it doesn't have to be he's back 7 days a week playing shortstop.
Sure.
All right. Hey, Mundo, you've earned yourself some more at-bats. Like, the guys that have filled in and played shortstop, like, I think it was Matt Gelb tweeted out earlier, the slash line of the shortstops in the 17 games without Trey Turner. And it's been more than formidable for what they've got from that position.
That's a good point you make. A left-handed pitcher's out there, Wednesday afternoon, Sunday afternoon or something. Hey, Trey, you're going to lead off today and pinch hit. Kyle will give you the day off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
you could do that, or you could throw Schwarber out in left field also.
Why not? Let's get a little crazy. Let's have some fun.
36-14. You can try anything.
Let's get nuts with this thing.
Ray just did the shimmy. For those of you, oh my God, I've seen it all now.
Over here.
All right, we're getting the shimmy from Ray now, like he just hit a double and drove in 2 runs. It wasn't bad either. I got to give it to you, to tell you the truth.
Appreciate that.
All right, do you change the thinking a little bit if you're Rob Thompson? Now, thinking meaning this. I do have some cushion. Like I am 22 games over 500. I said to you the other day that I think a little bit of a downslide is coming from Jeff Hoffman. He just doesn't look 100% right to me. So I think a little something's coming. If I'm 27 and 23, I'm like, well, he's got to push through it. I need him. He's my closer / reliable guy, high leverage guy, however you want to label it. But I'm 22 games over 500. And if I'm Rob Cooney, and I'm sitting there and I'm going,
you are.
I'm seeing a little something there. I'm going to pitch him on low leverage for now until he gets himself back. Might not be something you do if you're chasing, if you're closer to 500, finding yourself. Would you do that? Would you change your thinking a little bit, Ray Dunn, if you're manager of the Phillies?
Do you think that's a departure from the way that Rob Thompson thinks?
Yes.
You do?
I think he is as bullheaded as can be. Yeah, I do. I think he likes his guy. Now, depending on when he has used them, he'll use them in different situations. But no, I think he's bullheaded that Hoffman, no matter what, he's going to put in high leverage situations. Alvarado, Kerkering now, those are high leverage guys. Whether they're struggling or not, I think he's still going to throw them in that high leverage situation.
So I think you might take it a little bit differently than what I meant it there in terms of, do you think it's a departure from him? I think he manages the 162 to maximize his position for the postseason, which is something we've said about him the last 2 years. They've gotten off to slow starts, or they've got this lineup going out there today. Why is this guy getting a day off? Why is that guy? Why did this guy come in? Why can't this guy pitch back-to-back days? Why are we not getting? Like, to me, I think he has all that in the back of his mind. So I don't think if Thompson's seeing exactly what you're seeing out of Hoffman, he thinks that might be the case. I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility of him to change, okay, this is where we're going to see him because we need him to get in these types of situations to maximize what he's going to give us, to get him better for where he goes. Like, I don't think it's that unique of what Rob Thompson does, because I think he manages his guys to the position of, okay, what's going to have them best when the 162 is over and when I'll really be judged on our wins and losses. Because, again, I think he realizes, and I think the quote last night was pretty telling. He's having a good time. They're having a good time with this, but he realizes that the people out there that are talking about the schedule, talking about what's wrong with this team, talk to me in October, ultimately they'll be judged on the way they finish this season. And I think if you see that with Hoffman and he sees that with Hoffman, he's going to manage him to make sure he has the most out of Hoffman when it actually counts for him.
Okay, I see a little more stubbornness. You lay out a great point. I see a little more, I'm going to let them fight through because that's who they are and that's what they're going to be for me. But you make a good point there. Okay, we have so much on the table, so much fun today. Hope you're getting ready for a great and exciting weekend. If you want to call us, have a little fun on any of the topics we've been bringing up. Eagles, confidence level, the Phillies. How do you handle this? How do you handle this success as a fan right now? Are you just riding the wave? Are you skeptical because of the schedule? Is there a different way that you look at it? There's so many things to talk about. Plus, Eagles OTAs. I do want to get to, I mistakenly said we did, but I do want to get to what Darius Slay had to say yesterday. Ray is a big fan of it. So that's good. I want to keep Ray happy. That is why I'm here. We also have some text. We want to hear from you. 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, Midday. I swear, one of my favorite parts of the day. It's about 20 after 12. We go to break, and boom, Tyrone opens the door, and man, it goes places. It goes places. And I don't know if you had a chance. Yeah, again, today you'll have the best show ever. I believe Bill Colorulo's in with Tyrone today, as Ricky has Phillies game. But yesterday they had an interesting subject talking about the Bryce Harper promposal and the girl. I was almost waiting. So some background for those who maybe didn't say. A boy who lives in Haddonfield, New Jersey, must live right near Bryce Harper. Had Bryce Harper go to the girl's house. He knocked on the door. Bryce Harper, they did the promposal where Harper said, "Hey, you mind going to the prom with my friend here, such and such?" The girl was like, as she should be, was like, "Oh, my God," and walked over and hugged Bryce Harper and gave him a hug. And Bryce like, "Oh, a hug, yeah, sure." And then she walked to the kid who asked her to the prom and gave him a hug. Ricky and Tyrone came on the air with Silvana, 24-year-old Silvana? 3-year-old. Silvana, very close in age to these kids. Not as much as, obviously, me or Tyrone or Ricky. And said, she's like, yeah, that was fine that they did that. Ricky and Tyrone were on the, no. She should have gone to the kid first because he's the one that set it all up. Josh is shaking his head no already. And so they had a big conversation on that. And then it was, well, if you're going to hug the kid second, maybe there should be a little peck on the cheek. I just told Tyrone I was on Silvana's side. That's right, as Silvana looks in here. I'm not saying it just because you're looking in on us, Silvana. And I said, I got to tell you, I'm probably playing the dad card. Because Silvana did say, I don't know, that's a little too, if I'm just, maybe you're going as kind of friends, maybe he just asked. She doesn't owe him a kiss on the cheek because that's not where the relationship is yet. Having a daughter your age, I agree. Now, those guys were like, that's not a big deal. It's like slightly above a handshake or however it played out. I was just like, no, because you don't want to lead the guy anywhere because guys are stupid, especially at 17 and 18. Oh, wait, she kissed me on the cheek in front of a camera, my parents, and Bryce Harper? I agree with Silvana. Yes. So, where do you stand, Ray?
My
where do you
head's
stand
spinning
on
this
Hugate?
one. I mean, yeah, I guess if Bryce Harper's at your front door, I think you probably go for the Bryce Harper hug. Like, no offense to the kid, he hasn't hit a home run to send the Phillies to the World Series. So, yeah, Harper should be first in line.
I think all right, let's turn it around. How do we turn this around? I have no idea. All right,
Harper's not going to be at the prom.
All right,
so you hug Harper for helping out, and then you go hug the date. That's it.
I think the date. Okay. All right.
You only get so many chances in life to run into Bryce Harper.
He's not going anywhere. It's not like he was going to go. You're going with him. See you. Bye. Boom.
How do you know that?
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, in the moment, I'll be honest. I never would expect to see Bryce Harper outside my
Who's your favorite woman athlete of all time?
That's a good question.
Oh,
Let's see. I would go. My favorite athlete that I've watched in my lifetime. That's a woman. I guess like one of the Williams sisters.
Okay. They come to the door with a girl and they ask you to the prom and stuff like that. Is your first thought saying, oh, my God, Amy, that was so nice of you to get her. And then you go over to Venus or Serena and you say, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Or do you go, oh, my God, Venus, Serena, and give them a hug first and then go to the girl and say, good job by you?
I don't know how I'd react because I don't think like being in that situation. It would be a gut. It'd be right now we're talking it out. This is in the moment. You open your door, and it's Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Go ahead, Josh. You were trying to chime in
I was
there. What do
just
you
going
got?
to say, Ray, what about a certain Iowa Hawkeye showing up at your front
absolutely.
door?
But I'm talking about, like athletes at that level. Athletes at that level. Like, those two are, like, Harper is probably at that level of the Venus Serena.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about favorite
I'm
dominant athletes. Like, all right, what if Garrett Stubbs showed up at, like, the door? Like, that's a different story.
I agree with Tyrone and Ricky in that she should have gone to the boy first. I do. As far as the kissing on the cheek and that, I understand what Silvana was saying. Boy first and then a Bryce. Can I get a hug from you, too? That was so nice of you to do it. That's how I would.
They're probably going to dance at the prom. Like, they got the whole prom thing to do now.
Oh, Harper's going to the prom?
Harper's not going. That's what I mean. You're only getting the one moment with Harper. This was the only moment you get with Harper.
You know, it's funny. I was listening to this yesterday, and I was like, all right, let's talk sports, but it's a fun subject.
Yeah, we're going to do sports. All sports. We're not dancing at the prom because I'm not taking you anymore. I'm going to see if I can get Bryce to go to that girl's best friend's house. She doesn't want to hug me first. She's out.
Wow. You would have called her that night and said, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yeah.
You went through all the trouble to get Bryce Harper, and then all of a sudden it's over like that.
She didn't appreciate me.
She appreciated Bryce.
Right. I went to the effort. You're out. See, you're out back out in these streets, Ray. You're selling yourself short.
All right.
You're the catch. You're the catch.
I'll be honest with you. If you put me next to Bryce Harper sent the Phillies to the World Series. He should get the hug first.
She should not. You did the effort.
She's not going to spend the rest of her life. There's no possibility
That's why
the rest of her life.
You're a man of respect.
Did
Bryce Harper.
she anticipate
you,
Bryce
Tyrone.
Harper being a part of the promposal? Like, when you...
Well, that's what Mopar says. Real quick, on your side here, Ray, Mopar says, although he comes on with the come on, Bob. You know I don't like that, Mopar. Don't do it anymore. It's hindsight. She didn't realize what was going on. So, right, her first thing was, oh, my God, Bryce Harper.
And also,
probably.
if you're
But it
doing the
was wrong.
promposal, the eyes usually go first to the sign. You have a good idea of who's asking
Who
you
had
to
the
prom.
sign?
But, like, no, there was no sign in this scenario.
Bryce Harper
was the sign. If you did it in a normal, average, everyday thing, the sign would be where the eyes went first.
You're getting worked up about
no,
this.
I'm just saying.
Did you not go to your prom? Could you
I went
not
to
get
both
a date?
of my proms.
Yeah?
Thank you very much.
Did
Had
you
a
have
date
dates?
to both of them.
Okay.
If
I
you
worry
went
about
there
you,
with
Ray.
the sign is where the eyes go to first.
Okay.
Bryce Harper, in this case, was the sign. He was the thing.
Okay.
You're looking for the effort in the promposal.
My thought was yesterday when those guys were talking about it, and it was good, fun conversation. There's nothing serious going on here. Was good job by the guy that did it.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the girl who got to hug Bryce Harper. And all of it to the parents of the girl and the guy. We are not putting down your children whatsoever because that's first where my thoughts go as a father. Congratulations to all of you. Great job by that kid to have the guts enough to go to Bryce Harper and ask him to do it and all that. It was funny, a little side story. One of my friends had was it a basketball game or something? One of my friends' had a basketball game or a baseball game recently or whatever. I think it was basketball. And he got the lineup of the other team handed to him. They were playing Haddonfield. It was filled with Phillies kids on the team. Yeah, like I'm just saying, like a real Muto, a Harper, a this, a that. Yeah, it was filled with it. It was pretty funny. All right, cousin Ryan on Ardmore wants to close this out because that's what we're going to do. Ryan, what's going on, buddy? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, Bob, happy afternoon to you guys.
You too, buddy. How's it going?
Oh, just another day in paradise.
Attaboy.
Well, I think the Saints win on this one because...
Right, I'm sorry, Ryan, we can barely hear you. Is there any way you can get either closer or whatever?
Sorry, Bob.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, buddy.
So I think both of these kids win in the end. They both are going to have a great time at prom, and you know what? This guy went out of his way to make her promposal special. And you know what? If I think that she's going to enjoy that enough where she's going to make his prom special and make him, the center of attention at some point. So, you know what, kids, go have fun and enjoy yourself.
And that's what the best thing in life to do is to have fun. Now, Ryan, I got to ask you a Phillies question. All right, we know how they're going on right now. They're 36-14. This is such a fun run. Do you change a little bit of the way that you look at this season now because of the success that they've built already?
Bob, my entire view of this season has changed because they're doing everything that we've been asking them to do. I'm so grateful for the fun that they're having right now because it's enjoyable to watch.
I love it. Ryan, thanks so much. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. Hope you have a great weekend. Want to remind everybody, at 1:30 today, Brian Dawkins will be joining this show. So we'll talk to Brian about the state of the Philadelphia Eagles. He has a golf outing coming up, which is very special to the community. So we'll talk to Brian all about that. Yes, Ray?
I just noticed here, I got an alert from Fantasy Labs that there might be a delay.
A delay of the Phillies game.
Good. As Fantasy Labs. I haven't seen a beat tweet it yet. But
oh, okay, because I was looking at the weather. It looks like that storm or what do you call it? That little system, let's call it.
Yeah, that's,
How do you like that?
That's weatherology for you.
It looks like it's not going to move out or through until about 2 o'clock. So I guess it depends on the how bad the rain is coming down.
Just something I saw while
be.
we're giving people information on what's happening this afternoon.
Okay, and as we said, 1:30 is when Brian Dawkins is going to
we
join
will
the
speak to
show.
Brian Dawkins at 1:30.
Yes, we will. Also, we are going to listen to, I promise you, but we keep getting off kilter here because I'll tell you, it is a different day here at the station. There is like pep and step. There is smiles on faces. There's a lot of happiness going on when a holiday weekend is coming up. We all have that. So when we get back, I will play the Darius Slay cuts for you so we can talk about that. And I don't know if anybody out there right now was listening to Kincade and Salciunas this morning. They have this little thing where I go in to do a crossover, it's called, at like 9:50 before we start our show. But about an hour before that, Mr. Kincade, who yesterday called us out on Twitter, wanted to have at it with us and was talking about us, and I had to come in and defend us, Ray. So maybe we'll just try to clear that air up a little bit at 1 o'clock. But we'll go to the Darius Slay cuts because I think it was good what we had to hear, what he said and what we have to hear him say. Don't forget Brian Dawkins, as we said, he's going to be here at 1:30. This is Middays. Ray Dunn is sitting in with me today. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back, Middays, as we get you ready for the best show ever with Tyrone Johnson. Today, Bill Colarulo will be joining him as Ricky Patalico is doing the Phillies game today. I want to remind you that the 12 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirst.hvac.com. Okay, OTAs, they're coming about. Ray, trivia, what does OTA stand for?
Organized team activities.
Attaboy.
Right.
You like that. He got that right off the bat. Are your hands clean? Were you playing with a hot dog or something during the break?
All right,
Can't talk about it?
12:48, we're going to cut that. Hear that Friday at 5.
You were the one doing it. I wasn't. I'm just
You're
asking
the one
question.
throwing accusations about playing around with the hot dog.
I don't know. I'm just asking. But anyway, OTAs did start yesterday. And my concern, my sole concern, all of my questions surround this Eagles defense. And Darius Slay, who is the leader. Yeah, I'm going through my mind real quick. One of the leaders.
Who else?
Well, I mean, you still have Brandon Graham there.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's true. Sorry. Love you, BG. He just slipped my mind there on that one.
All
so,
right.
yeah, Brandon Graham and then Darius Slay.
Yeah, and Slay. Yeah. So, anyway, Slay talked about that. He said, you know, he knows what his role is and what his job may be exactly for this team right now.
That's the main thing, to teach him how to be a pro, man. You know, I was talking to him today, just let him know, man, I'm always here for y'all boys, man. Anything y'all need from me, I got you. I'm here to get on the blueprint of everything to help them make sure they, succeed at this level. That's my job to do. That's what I've always been brought up to do. Definitely, because I'm an older brother, all the siblings. So it's always been my kind of duty to lead in the example way and try to help them and make sure they get the right direction.
Cool. No problem with that at all. No absolute problem. You know where I stand on leadership, Ray. Okay. But if Slay wants to go out of his way to try to help guys, hey, Quinyon, listen, look, on here, up here in the pros, that's not a two-step, turn your right hip and go. That's a one-step turn. Different things like that, nuances, all here for it. It would be better received if he has good followers. So hopefully you have good followers. Hopefully you have guys that listen and, can learn something from Darius Slay. I have no problem there with what he said. I don't think anybody could, right?
No, I don't think you could have a problem with what he said there. I think personally that's a big reason why when we had the conversation about the youth movement, I'm not going fully youth movement because I want guys that have been in this league and have shown you they still have something to deliver in this league. And I think Slay talking yesterday it made it seem like he understands. Like there's been a conversation had potentially of like, hey, you know that you're coming up on the end here. We still love you here. We still really like you here. We drafted these guys. Part of you still being here is, hey, you got to get ready to usher in that next era. And you see how much talent's around here? See how much talent we got here? It'd be a shame if you missed out on something really special because you weren't ready to mentor some of these guys.
What if I was a coach was thinking in my head, that's it, Slay. Empty all of that knowledge out that you can before we have to cut you. Or before we decide to cut you.
It's a cold world.
It's a cold world. It's a business world. What do you hear athletes say every time they get cut or traded? It's a business first. Okay, here's the business thing. Use it for everything you have. Look, I am not condoning cutting Darius Slay. I'm wondering if it's on the whiteboard down at the NovaCare offices of should we go with the youth movement in the secondary question mark?
Heck of a question to put up on a whiteboard. What if the wrong person sees that one?
Well, it's in an office that you don't allow players to come into.
All right, fine, sure. Yeah, but I'm not there. I'm not there with him.
Right.
I do think there's still something left there for him. It's not a long, career left ahead of him. 33 as a corner. I think you honestly might be starting this season as training the heir apparent to you midway through this season. Like that might be his role this year. Might be, hey, you're going to start the beginning of this season. But I'm not surprised if we're talking like week 8 or 9 where it's like, all right, yeah, Ringo's showing you more. Let's have him out there. Or, hey, Mitchell, DeJean, I think Mitchell's going to be the corner opposite him, so I don't really think that him taking over for Slay is an option because I think he's going to be the guy out there. But someone where it's like, hey, yeah, that's taking over for like mid-season because it'd be tough for a corner at his age to perform at a high level for 17 games.
Sure. And Darius Slay did have some thoughts on Quinyon Mitchell.
Oh man, great! A lot of great things, man. Quick dude. That's got a quick twitch. I love his off man. I'm real good at off man. What I do, I watched his tape in college for a good minute. So some things that I'm gonna help him with for sure that he asked me already to do, and that's my duty to do. And I'm looking forward to helping him because I see a great talent in him. Looking forward to seeing him making a lot of plays.
You can look at the substance of what Darius Slay has to say. I just like hearing him talk. I think I just love the way he talks and the enthusiasm that he has and all. But that's cool. He looked at Quinyon Mitchell's film for a minute. He likes the way he does things. That's good. That's all encouraging. You're right. That is all positive stuff. I am not going to deny that at all. I have no reason to, nor do I want to.
No. And I think it was Mitchell, and I'm going to go back, and I guess probably after this show, and go back to what the Eagles put out there. It's like that 18-minute, 20-something minute special they put out post-draft of like the ins and outs of. It was a really cool video. I enjoyed watching it, but I'm pretty sure it was Mitchell that was like, yeah, I'm going to soak up as much as I can from Slay because that's someone that I've looked at. Like, it's someone that I've looked up to. So I think it's only right to have that guy in the building and attached at the hip. Hey, Mitchell, you want to learn the ways of the league? Go follow him around.
Yeah,
please.
I got no problem with that. All right, a little bit of an update here. The Phillies game has officially been delayed today. Further updates will come later, according to the Phillies. I also want to remind you that Brian Dawkins will be joining us at 1:30 today as he talks about his golf outing that's going to take place on June 3rd. We will be there at Oaks Country Club in Westchester. We are going to do our show from there. We will talk to Brian Dawkins, I'm sure, there that day. We will probably, we will definitely talk to a bunch of either former Eagles, maybe some current ones, people involved with the Eagles on that June 3rd, that Monday. Going to be a great, great day. Can't wait to talk to Brian Dawkins today. All right, Josh, quickly, let's go to some of the texts we got about the Phillies and maybe some annoyances in sports that we have.
All right, we got a first one. It says, I think their record and then playing so well is the only reason that Castellanos continues to play every day. In this slump, if the record was worse, I don't know if the leash should be this long for him.
This is where I think Rob Thompson is. I disagree with that texter, and thank you for it. But I think no. I think this is the stubbornness that I talked about. I think Rob Thompson would ride it out.
Yeah, I think he's going to ride it out.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Because he's the veteran, because he was there the last couple of years, and okay, no question.
If you were going to do it at some point, I think you'd already
have done it.
Have done it.
Okay. All right. What else do we got, Josh?
We got Chris in Philly who's getting violent about these Phillies.
Whoa.
Yeah, Chris says they'll change nothing. The Phillies need to step on their opponent's throats while they're hot. Team is good. We need to go full throttle after coming up short these last couple of years. It is fun to watch domination.
All right. I got no problem with that.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was asking for something more. No, I mean, they have been dominant. They have been stepping on their opponent's throats throughout this entire stretch. I mean, this is, again, if you are just someone that, oh, yeah, look, they're 36-14, but they haven't played anyone, I question how much you've watched.
Yeah, so do I. And it's fascinating that you have this 36-14 start, and we're talking about the different ways we look at it. And I want to get deeper into that when we get back from the break. How are you looking at this Phillies season? I've laid a lot of things out there, and maybe you want to let us know. 610-632-0975. We also asked you about little annoyances in sports. If you can't come up with one of them, how about if you let us know something little that you just absolutely love about summer? Something minor that it might be like, yeah, this is really weird, but I love this part about summer. 610-632-0975. You can talk to us or text us, and Josh will read them out to us. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. for being with us. One more hour until we lead you into the best show ever. Tyrone, I feel like we do like 2 shows. Tyrone comes in and it's a whole nother show. But the 1 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Josh, I teased it before we went to break, so you say we still have some more texts on sports annoyances? Because I think this is a fun little subject.
Oh, yeah. So here's one that I liked, and this does not apply to Taryn Hatcher. She's fantastic, but it's just from Mike and King of Prussia. Sideline reporters are the worst and very annoying, and I assume he's talking about like when they're going to the locker room, they kind of shove the mic in the coach's face and kind of get
what adjustments are you going to make? It's a tough spot. You know, you're there to, like, somebody left the field. All right, let me run to the locker room. I got to find out what this injury is right away. You still have, well, I shouldn't say you still. There are some that don't do that, and it's very noticeable. You'll be like, yo, Jalen Hurts slipped off, 10 plays ago. Why haven't we heard anything? Or at least say, I'm back here trying to find something out. It's a tough spot, though. Get a coach during a timeout in an NBA playoff game. That's not easy because your first judgment as a reporter is to ask a good question to get a good answer. A good answer doesn't come with, we're going to have to play better on the defensive end because that's all they have time for. So it's a tough spot.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I think you might be annoyed by it. I think the practice of it is a necessary thing. I think the way that it's been whittled down to some of these kind of, let's grab the coach in a timeout where they'd rather be talking about to their team about why they're down 5 instead of talking to you about why they're down 5 is not great. I think if they took it away, you would notice it in a negative sense of like some of the color of the game being taken away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Pro sideline report.
Okay. All right, very good. Any more, Josh?
Yeah, we got one more. It's nameless texter. My small sports bother. Although it may be a bigger thing, the MLB still has a human behind home plate calling balls and strikes. We've had technology for years now to get every pitch called correctly.
Sorry. I still like the humanization of sports. I don't mind them being back there. And listen, if they do go robotic, it's not like you're not going to have an umpire back there. It's just going to be buzzed into him whether it was a strike or not, and he makes the call.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was up in Lehigh Valley last year for the Iron Pigs game where I think they were starting with like some of the testing of that stuff. So and they were in the box like doing it and trying to like get the communication down for it. It's a fascinating thing to go to the quote unquote robotic way of things. I think we get more annoyed with the umpires because the box on the screen, like it's different for each network. It's different for like. It's a box that's there, but is it the same for every batter? Should it be the same for every batter?
Take that away.
Yeah, like honestly,
take it away. That's part of the problem also.
If you took that away, I think we would complain less about the umpires.
You shouldn't know the answers as a fan before the players or umpires know the answers.
I also do myself love the person for the games that I'm down there at. I love sitting in a section that's nowhere near like looking on to home plate and the person next to you that's, are you kidding me? We don't have the angle. That's not. You don't know if that's a strike or a ball. You're sitting in 307 up all the way on that side. You can't see whether or not that's a strike or a ball.
And that's what's kind of a little annoyance about sports is you're an educated complainer now because you have the boxes, because you have replay, because you have. If you weren't an educated complainer, and this means players too, I think the game would move a lot faster and be a lot better. And okay, are you going to miss some calls? Yeah, but so be it. What are you going to do? All right, let's get to a couple callers here. Reminder, 2 things. Phillies game is rain delayed. From what Tyrone said, it won't start till about 1:45, 2 o'clock. The Brian Dawkins is going to join us at 1:30 today to talk about his golf outing. What say you? You got something?
Yeah, I just got a text in from one Silvana Kelleher about an annoyance. People taking off their shoes at baseball games.
I'm not an advocate for people taking off their shoes in public places all that much unless it's a swim club or something like that or the beach. But
I mean, I'm just more flabbergasted that people do this.
I know. Who would want to step on that concrete with all the stuff that's been on there?
And there's people around you.
That's what I'm saying.
Have a little bit of sign of respect here.
Yeah. Well,
it's gross.
I guess people think, it's summertime. You go to the beach and take your shoes off or to the local pool. And I know. I'm just telling you.
This is disgusting. I want to know who Silvana's been around at these games so I can avoid them.
Yeah, I'm not much on that either. Mike and Ben Salem, let's talk about the Phillies a little bit. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. So, love the way the Phillies are playing. The only thing I would say, and I'm not being negative, I'm really trying not to be. The fact is they've had a real cupcake schedule, and I want to see them do it against the good teams. I think they will. I think they're going to win a division. But, before we say, the best Phillies team ever, I got to see them do it against the Dodgers and the Braves and the other good teams, because you look at the, MLB.com has standings, and it shows, okay, what's the record against over 500? They played 3 games against over 500 teams. Everyone else has played, 15, 20. So that's my only skepticism. It's not their fault, but that's my only trepidation.
Mike,
get ready. Here comes Ray.
You're watching this team every night, right?
Absolutely.
They're not just eking by these sub-500 teams. They're beating them into the ground, consistently. And there's a lot of these teams. You look at this Rangers team. They come into this series at 500. This is not the Rangers team that won the World Series a year ago because of the injured list, all the guys that they have down. I can absolutely give you that. They come into this series, and last night, they smacked them around. This is not a, they're getting by 3-2. Even the game that was closer the other night, they still end up winning by multiple runs. They still open it up late. They have been able to dominate, and this goes into the Nationals would be, right now, if they didn't have all the losses of the Phillies, they'd be right around 500. Look at the Padres. They'd be over 500 if they have all the losses of the Phillies. Looking at some of these teams, the Phillies have beaten these teams into sub-500 records. And on top of all of that, when you watch the way that a lot of these guys are playing, I don't care really to the competition. You can't tell me you're not encouraged by a guy having a 1.36 ERA, and we're almost in June.
Absolutely. I love the way they're playing. They're going to get Trey Turner back. That's going to make them even better. If they need anything, I'd say maybe another right-handed arm out of the bullpen. Alvarado is he kind of worries me sometimes. But guys, they're playing great.
Mike, one more question for you.
Absolutely.
How many good teams do you think there are in baseball right now?
Maybe 8, 10, something like that.
8 to 10. All right. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Listen to what, do you have numbers there?
I mean, 8 to 10. I could take you through right now the division leaders. You got the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Brewers in the National League. I mean, in the National League, I'll give you the Phillies, Braves, and Dodgers. The Brewers.
Yankees. I'm sorry. I thought you were going over to America.
All right. The Padres are at 500. The Brewers are leading their division. The Cubs are right behind them. The Brewers and Cubs could get to the place where I'm looking at them as good team. I guess they're good teams. They're not great. You have 3 great teams in the National League. In the American League, you got Yankees. I've been a big fan of this Orioles team and the way that all the young talent they've got. The Mariners and what their pitching staff is doing right now. If you look at who's had the most innings thrown by the pitching staff, the Mariners are up there. But they're only 4 games over 500. The Guardians, they're 16 games over 500. There's probably 3 great teams in each league. You would be able to pick apart the rest of these teams. If they had played, say, the Brewers. What do the Brewers really have? The Cubs. They're going to get to these teams. That's a part of this schedule. We're going to see it. But the way they're beating up teams, the way you've seen these guys go so far, it's not like they're eking it out. It's not like, and you've seen the arrival of Suarez, of Bohm. I'm sorry. I don't need to see it against other opponents to know. 36 of 14. We're not talking about them being at the 27 and 23 that the Cubs are.
So let me just do this. If you could have the Eagles' 2022 football season back, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, right? They went to a Super Bowl. They were 14-3 in the regular season. They lost a great game in the Super Bowl where your quarterback played awesome, and maybe it was a stepping stone of something to come. I just got a tweet yesterday. Let's not forget about the Eagles' 2022 season that they played, and this is exact quote, a bunch of cupcakes. Did that matter that they went 14-3 and went to a Super Bowl and had a most enjoyable season without winning a championship? No. What I'll say is, let's just enjoy the ride.
Wait. So let's go down this path a little bit. If you want to compare it to an Eagles team, when you look at Eagles teams in the past, what about 2017? What would you say about the strength of schedule in that 2017
I don't
season?
remember.
But
in all honesty,
I compared it to it the other day. We were talking about when have you felt this way about a team in the regular season? And I mentioned it felt like that stretch where they just started beating the brakes off of bad teams. Washington, San Francisco was a disaster that year. The Broncos. the Cowboys, the Bears. I think that 5-game stretch right there, they actually might have gone a stretch from like week 5 to week 12 where they won all those games, and I don't think a single one of those teams was over 500.
Yeah.
The best might have been a team at 500. You know what that team ended up doing? It won the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Like, we are so quick to go back to, well, it didn't work for us before, so how can it work for us again?
Don't do that.
It is. It's a little bit of defeatist mentality. It really is. It becomes people like, oh, wow, things haven't worked out for us before, so why would they ever work out for us?
So I use this phrase an awful lot, Ray, and you know it. Yeah, but. Right?
Yeah.
You can watch a game and everything go right, and you say, yeah, but. And I do. I scrutinize games as much as anybody. I am not there with this Phillies team that it's a yeah, but. And to our last caller's point, he said, look, I'm not being negative, but I want to see him do it against.
And that's not even to Mike. That's not even to Mike. That's more to the let's compare it to a team that didn't win before.
Yeah, good point.
We're in a city where the baseball team's been around since 1883. It's won 2 titles. We're in a city where the baseball team's been around since 1883, and this is the best start they've ever gotten off to.
Yeah.
Like, can you enjoy the first 50 games? Can you enjoy watching this without the, well, it hasn't worked out for us before? Like, that to me, that is so defeatist of like, well, the 2022 Eagles didn't beat anyone. They lost in the Super Bowl, so we're going to be set up for another disappointment. Yeah, we might be disappointed someday in November. Like, someday late in October.
Enjoy it now.
But there's also a chance that we're talking about a parade at the end of this, and you're not enjoying it every night because you're afraid of getting your heart broken.
Yeah.
Go out there. Meet the people, you know?
We got somebody that agrees with you on the line, Ray.
Oh, boy.
And it's the Weave. Weave, what's going on? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Oh, it's the Weave. Yo, man, let me tell you something. This is the greatest, I think, Phillies team that came along in a long time. And all these people that are complaining about the Eagles, the Phillies are beating teams that are, whatever, sub 500. They wouldn't be sub 500 if they hadn't ran into the Phillies.
That's right.
Let me tell you another thing. I looked up Atlanta's stats, right? Atlanta was good when their pitching staff was good. But guess what? Now it's a difference with Atlanta because I think their hitting is picking up. But no, their pitching staff is picking up, but their hitting is going under. There's nobody that has the hitting, the people that can hit like the Phillies do. They are destined for greatness.
I hear you, Weave. I agree with you, and thanks for calling. Hope you have a great weekend. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare Atlanta and all that stuff, I don't. I look within more, and I've said this a million times, and it's my true belief. And when you believe something, it's easy to talk the truth. I look within first, and I think I'm looking within this Phillies team, much like you said, Ray, that they're playing a game that it's almost like the opponent doesn't matter. Now, of course, pitching comes into play, all that. But the way this Phillies team is playing right now, it doesn't matter. It really seems like to me it doesn't matter who the opponent is right now.
And I'm catching some flack already from.
You are?
Yeah, the YouTube chat. The point is the soft schedule has given them a huge advantage so far moving through this season. Has it given them a 6-game advantage on this Braves team? Has the schedule been that weak where it's given you 6 games?
I think the Phillies play has given you that 6-game advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they were losing this games, and that's why like I almost feel for you because some of you I don't think ever get the win in your scenario. Because if they had been losing these games, right now the conversation would be, wow, they're not taking advantage of the soft part of their schedule. This stinks. This team must not be good enough to go take care of business when it counts because when they actually play some teams, they have been able to beat some bad teams. Like some of you don't ever let them just have we don't have to be negative all the time. We can enjoy something nice. That's what I'm trying to relay to you. Enjoy.
He's just trying to bring some positivity.
And Jim G with you're only 24 years old. You haven't gone through the pain most of the fans have had to endure for decades. I will say, my generation has been blessed. I will never run away from that. We've seen more postseasons. We've seen more success in that run. I got to see a Super Bowl when I was quite young. I'm not putting that past you. I'm just telling you that carrying on and holding to something, like holding it, whatever it be, 1964, holding to, Black Friday, holding to, not getting it done. All those things, you're not letting yourself enjoy a good team in front of you.
Just the fact that people are going back to the 90s and stuff. Why? Just enjoy this.
I tweeted out yesterday after we got done here. In 2015, the no-hitter from Cole Hamels was the Phillies' 36th win of the season.
In Chicago, his last game that he pitched the Phillies.
That was July 25th of that year. They won their 36th game.
Wow, look at that. Ray, way to go, buddy.
They won
Drop
their
the mic.
36th game on May 22nd this year. Enjoy the fact that you lived through that disaster of a year, and less than a decade later, we're talking about a team that won its 36th game before Memorial Day. That's all I'm telling you. I'm telling you, just breathe a little. Enjoy it. I might need to breathe a little, because you can see I'm getting fired up again.
You are.
This is not good for my health, Bob.
I was fired up this morning. You and I have been fired up at various times today. I teased this, so I'll just, get to it real quick. Yesterday, Ray and I were on the show, and we talked about that there was one person at the station that didn't want LeBron James, and that was John Kincade. John Kincade sent out a tweet saying he wanted to correct both Ray and I and said he was talking about he doesn't want Bronny for LeBron or something like that. I didn't know what that meant because we weren't talking about that. We were just talking about LeBron James being here as a basketball player. John sent me a text, which confused me even more, and then this morning went on and teased us, saying, oh, they're talking about me not wanting. I didn't say that. I'd love for him to be here for content. All right, we'll just get through this. I'll call it a misunderstanding. We at the station talk about getting LeBron James here, whether it helps you get closer to win a championship. I think we all agree on that. We all think he should come here. It would give the Sixers a better chance to win a championship. I looked it up to make sure. John said no. LeBron will not help you win a championship. He's not going to win a championship, blah, blah, blah. And then when I went on the air to go at him about it today on their show, he said, no, I want him here for content. So whether there's a misunderstanding or not, I don't know. John's belief is that they will not, and we have it on, he said it, they will not win a championship guaranteed with LeBron here. I think the rest of us just think that they have a really good shot at it if he's here. So we'll leave it at that, and that's over with. We're going to end all that because I have had a lot of people get in touch with me about that little back and forth today. All right, don't forget, Brian Dawkins is going to be joining us at 1:30. So after the break, Dawkins will join us. David wants to talk a little bit of Eagles. David, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great, buddy.
All right, the youth movement for the cornerback position might start early because of who our general manager is. We're the team. If somebody loses a cornerback, we're the team they're going to call. And we have, between Maddox, Bradbury, and Slay, we have a surplus of guys that are expendable. Now, clearly they're not going to do it at the beginning, but if they see what they like out of Rodgers and Ringo and there's a growth there, Howie's not going to hesitate to make a trade. And I wouldn't if I can get a third-round pick for any of those players, it might be a fourth that could be a conditional third. They're gone.
That's it. You know what, David?
They're going in a heartbeat.
Thanks, David. Have a great weekend, buddy. Appreciate it. So David has kind of the same thought that I'm wondering if they have. Not saying I have. And then carrying it a little further, saying, well, and if you have these veterans, you can use them for maybe some trade bait. Interesting. Mike in Delran wants to talk youth movement here. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Yo, what's up, guys?
You all right today?
Oh, I'm feeling great today.
Attaboy. You got a little vacation coming up. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, Friday, Monday, Tuesday down the shore. And Saturday, Sunday, of course. But hey, Ray said something that kind of triggered me a little bit, and I'm on Ray's side. Somebody said, Jimmy something said, you're only 24 years old. You don't know the heartbreak that we've gone through, and how you're blessed with the sports era you've lived so far, right?
Yeah, that's essentially the gist.
Yeah. Well, those people are even more of a reason why they should realize how amazing this is, because we never see it in all of our lives, right? Like you've seen championship games, you've seen Super Bowl, World Series, you've seen that in your lifetime. Those that are in their 40s and 50s and older, we've had decades of dreck. So I don't care who the Phillies are winning. It's the best start in the first 50 games in almost 230 years of the sport for them, or whatever it is. So for the people that are saying, oh, they haven't played nobody, whatever, blah, blah, they just boat raced the defending world champs in 2 games and will probably sweep tonight. And I'm tired of hearing of it. Go Birds.
All right, Mike, thank you. Appreciate that a whole lot. Yeah, I never do the age thing like you haven't seen. I'm just so invested in the now. I don't go back to my heart was broken back then, so I can't do it now. No, I move on easier than that.
And I don't move on very easy.
No, you don't.
But I can appreciate what I'm watching while still having the heartbreak of the past. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking that, because my heart was broken in the past, that it's going to be broken now. I just, when those things get brought up again, sometimes I find myself, oh, wow, that wound did open up again. That's not great, but I'm not going to let it stop my enjoyment of right now.
Exactly. Great way of putting it, Ray. Okay, when we get back, Brian Dawkins, Hall of Famer, Philadelphia Eagles great. He's going to be joining us talking about a golf tournament that he has coming up a week from Monday. So we'll get into all things Eagle with Brian, see what he has in mind about this team as currently constructed. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. welcome back. 1:30 here, 97.5 The Fanatic. And look, we don't make guests like Brian Dawkins wait at all. So joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline, Hall of Famer, Eagles great, and just a great, great dude, Brian Dawkins. Brian, thanks so much for joining us today.
No, man, seriously, thank y'all for having me.
Dude, this will be, I think it's my third or fourth time. Now, we're going to be broadcasting live from your golf outing. It's the Brian Dawkins Driving Impact Celebrity Golf Tournament and Soiree. It's June 2nd and 3rd at Penn Oaks Golf Club in Westchester. We're going to be broadcasting from there, Brian. We know you're going to have a lot of former teammates there. All of those things. It benefits the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation, which is dedicated to providing transformative moments for young people. Now, the soiree, there's a soiree on June 2nd. Is that sold out, Brian? Do you know?
It is not. Still have some tickets available, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to come on to spread the good news for those individuals who want to come out to rub elbows and to laugh at some of the shenanigans that's probably going to be going on with Hollis and Hugh and those guys. So can't wait to get out there. And also I want to make sure that I thank Social Structures and Blue Water Group for allowing us to have this. They're major sponsors of this golf tournament that we're going to be holding to bless people.
And you have done a great job of blessing people all your life, especially since you've retired. If anybody wants to go to try to get to the soiree or to bid on auction items, they can go to briandawkins.com. So, Brian, we are so excited to once again do our show from your golf outing and for the reasoning of it. Now, talk about your foundation a little bit, the Impact Foundation, and what it all means to you.
Man, it means a lot to me. I always kind of lead with a story that someone blessed me with an opportunity to do something in my life that I will never meet this person. I will never get a chance to shake this person's hand to say thank you, but they allowed me to go to a place and do something that I never thought that I would be able to do. And from that place, I came up with a vision for myself that I'm still going after to today. So, that's basically what the foundation is about. It's transformational moments for young people so that they can go after things in their lives that they probably would not have gone after without the donations. But also we do some things in the mental health realm. I don't talk about mental wellness or mental health. It's too much negative connotations attached to it. I say cerebral wellness. And so the cerebral wellness packages that we have in 35 high schools now, and from those initiatives that started in 2019, we've been blessed to touch over 10,000 young people with those formulas of helping them understand what cerebral wellness is, what it's not, coping mechanisms and the like. So, it's a whole bunch of other things, and we don't have time for that. But I just really want to let people know that when you donate to the foundation, you're going to be blessing young people and single parents with some of the resources they need to climb up out of some of the situations they may find themselves in.
And for you to get the opportunity to do something like this, obviously with the golf tournament going to be out in Westchester, but being able to give back to this Philadelphia community, what does that mean to you, given how much, this community supported you, was so much with you, loved you as a player?
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. One of the main reasons that I even started off the giving process back in Philadelphia and not my hometown in Jacksonville is because I literally grew into a man there in Philadelphia. Like, I learned so much there, so many, blessed people that I've been able to come in contact with, obviously the fans included in that. And I wanted to do my best to be able to bless as many people as possible with some of the things that I've experienced in my life. I call them value packages. Some of the things that I've experienced in my life, my values, so that I can then bless people once again to be able to achieve something in life that they probably would not think that is available for them without the help of the foundation. So, yes, we're going to do our very best to reach as many people as possible with that hope.
Brian, people here in Philadelphia remember you as how tough you were back there, number 20, and hitting people and all that. I hope they respect how tough it probably was for you talking about cerebral wellness and the struggles that you went through it. That had to be, and that had to be as hard as anything you did on a football field.
It wasn't. It wasn't for me because, I'm up. Wow. When I talk about the things that I have grown through, I say I grew through them. That means I've gone through them. That means I got stronger as I went through it because of my faith. And so
I've come on the other side of it to recognize as I look back, yes, it was painful in the moment, but I'm on the other side of it looking back. I've recognized I have things that I can now share with other people that may help them in their situations. So now my mess has become a message. So, like, I don't look back at the past as this dark and gloomy face, which it was in the moment for a little bit. But I look back at it as a shining example of how you can take life yesterday and the pains of yesterday and then allow those of today to be empowerment for people going through similar things, similar situations, because you're on the other side of that.
We're talking to the great Brian Dawkins on the Comcast Business Hotline. And, Brian, we can't, obviously we have you here. We got to talk a little bit of Eagles with you. And my big question marks for this year go specifically to the defensive side of the ball. Where do you see this defense now going into this season? A lot of young players, a lot of unknowns. How do you think they'll handle that this year?
Well, one of the pluses that I see is you pick up, Fangio, Coach Fangio. And if you look at his last couple of stops, if they're in the indication of what this team is going to be about, this will be a vastly improved defense. Like, if you look at his defenses that he's coached, there's a certain level of effort that you see on every level, aggressiveness on every level, accountability you can see on every level. So that's what this team was lacking in a lot of instances. Some of those things that you would think, I would think, are second nature, that you're supposed to know how to do these things. But for whatever reason, a lot of guys didn't do it on a regular basis last year. And so, again, I believe that when you bring in someone who's been through as much as he's been through and coached so many defenses, top 5 defenses like he has, like, he can recognize specific things to be able to put guys in better positions. But then it's up to that guy to make the play when he's put in that position. And if you look at the draft and some of the people that they brought in, I believe that they recognize some of the errors of their ways. I'm talking about the organization, and they went out to get some people that can fix and shore some of that stuff up.
And going to that point, looking at some of the players they brought in, it was a question mark coming out of the season what they would do with the secondary. How do you evaluate some of the guys that they've been able to bring in here and what they might bring to the field here for your Philadelphia Eagles?
We would have to wait and see. We have to wait and see if what they have shown in college, their versatility, obviously we're talking about the first 2 draft picks, see about their versatility and what they were able to do at the college ranks. Can they then take that and go to the pros to have success in some of the schemings that Rick is going to put in front of them? And that was the hardest thing for me, is learning the new defensive schemes. It wasn't athleticism, it wasn't running and jumping, none of those things. But for me, it was the playbook. And so can they pick up the playbook, and can they then be utilized all over the field because they can learn the playbook?
Brian, when you had a season like the Eagles did last year, and I'll keep it to that defensive side of the ball, because we were talking about Darius Slay earlier on in the show. He's a veteran, like you said, like Vic Fangio. He's been through it. He's been really great in this league. He's seen great things. Is there a leadership thing there that is really valuable from a Darius Slay? Like, I'm the type of guy, I used to cover the NBA. Leadership to me is like you need followers in order to be a leader. And I think everybody in professional sports are pretty much leaders because they've always been really great at what they do. But is Darius Slay or guys like that more valuable to this team after what happened last year?
If you want me to put myself in his shoes, that's what you're telling me to do?
Sure.
If I'm putting myself in anybody's shoes, last year was such an embarrassment to me. Like, you won't have to tell me to do nothing this year as far as working out, conditioning myself, getting myself prepared for this year, because it was so embarrassing to fall off the train that you were trying to go down last year. So you won't have to tell me to do anything as far as preparation is concerned. So leadership first starts with you, right? My leadership started with me being a disciplined individual. I have to be disciplined in my craft, disciplined in me learning what I need to learn, again, getting my body where it needs to be so that I can be the weapon that I need to be on game days, so that the defensive coordinator, Jim Johnson, at the time, the late great, can use me however he wants me to be used. And along that way, guess what? Guys are looking at me. Guys are watching some of the things that I do, how I go about practicing. And some of those guys ask questions about, why do you do this and do things like that? Or I invite them, like I call it, to my party. Like I would invite guys, hey, let's watch a third down together. Let's watch. So you begin to go even outside of how you would usually do things. Again, it's because of that pain. Pain drives you, man. Pain should bring something out of you that you didn't recognize that was there. Sometimes pain, troubles and storms bring to the surface things you need to stop doing and some things you need to start doing. And to me, that was a painful example last year, that everybody in that locker room on the defensive side of the ball, period, and on offense as well. I won't just say just the defense, but it should have driven the heck out of their offseason conditioning to this point.
And while we talk so much about leadership, and obviously some of the leadership that's moved on, whether you look at a Fletcher Cox, you look at a Jason Kelce, do you feel like leadership is something that's learned, is something that can be learned for a group, or is it something that comes naturally to someone?
Ultimately, it's a learned thing. We all have influence. Right? I always think about it like this. Everybody who's even listening to, let me slow down. Everybody who's even listening to this, we all have influence of at least one person, whether you recognize it or not. The point is, what are you teaching that person? What is that person learning from you when you hit turbulent situations? You know, when they see you working, like, do you finish? Do you cut corners? Because they're learning from you. And so there's an influence part. And the higher you go as far as gaining more influence, the more people that are potentially watching you of how you do things. My ultimate leadership qualities, to be honest with you, is how I lead my family, right? I want to be the type of man that with specific moral standards and how I compete, how I discipline myself, so that my family, my kids, and the like can learn from me. And then also, I'm doing the same thing as I step outside of my family and to my then team family, because those dudes were my family. Like Hugh, and I mentioned Hugh and Hollis and Donovan. Them cats were my family. They still are my family. So I wanted to do my very best to, show myself in a way that if you're following Dawkins, then you're going to learn these qualities. So that's how I did it.
We're talking to Brian Dawkins on the Comcast Business Hotline. Brian, that's just jumped into my head. Like, who was the type of, or specifically, player that you followed as a youngster that was kind of a leader to you when you were getting into the game? And not everybody has a leader. Not everybody has somebody they follow. But did you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was blessed. When I came here, I was blessed to have a couple of guys, 3 guys off the top of my head that blessed the heck out of me. Troy Vincent in secondary group, William Thomas, linebacker, and Irvin Fryer. Like, those 3 guys from different ways blessed the heck out of me with their leadership styles, because you got to remember, each one of those guys were all pro. Each one of those guys were Pro Bowl players before I got here, when I got here, right? So I was watching them. I was watching to see how they practice. How did Irv practice? And it was, believe me, it was full speed. Him and Troy going at it all the time. Matter of fact, they wouldn't go against pretty much anyone else. Like, when Irv went up, Troy went up. Like, it was a battle. And so I watched those guys, but I also watched how they handled the media, how they talked in front of the media, right? Did they throw teammates under the bus? Absolutely not. Did they take accountability for things? Absolutely, on a continuous basis. So I watched those guys, and then when that leadership void is then shown, because they had to go off and they went off to other teams, then what it does is it gives those younger guys who are waiting for that opportunity, not necessarily waiting, but can step into that leadership position. It gives them the ability to then step into that, to become the voice. And then I did my version of what I saw those cats do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at this group, you mentioned watching how everything unfolded last season and how difficult it was and how you would have attacked this offseason and how you hope they're attacking this offseason. In your mind, if you were in that room right now, what's the message that you would deliver to this team as they get ready to really ramp up their offseason together?
Are you still embarrassed? Are you still embarrassed? Because you should be. I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to tell them this. So I'm saying, you ask me what I would say, I would ask my team, y'all still embarrassed? Y'all still embarrassed about last year? Yeah, because you should be. We should be. We should be embarrassed about what happened last year. again, allow that to motivate you. Allow that to give you that extra oomph that you need so that you can get back into the space that they were in the beginning of the year as a perennial favorite to not just be in the Super Bowl but to win it.
Brian, we can't thank you enough for joining us. We can't wait to see it. We got the Brian Dawkins Driving Impact Celebrity Golf Tournament and Soiree. It's June 2nd and 3rd at Penn Oaks Golf Club in Westchester. We're going to be out there with you, Brian, doing our show from there. If anybody wants to try to bid on auction items or get soiree tickets, you have to go to briandawkins.com. Brian, thank you so much. We can't wait to see you on June 3rd.
Absolutely, brother. Y'all be blessed.
All right, be good. Thank you so much. Brian Dawkins joining us here on 97.5 The Fanatic. When we get back, we're going to have to close this thing.
We are closing this thing out like this.
Are we going straight on through?
We're going straight on through, Bobby.
Oh, my fault. I thought we had to take one. What are you pointing at?
Oh, out time.
Well, yeah, but I thought that was going to be like after we did some more.
No, we're hanging out with you.
How cool are we? All right, I got nothing left. What do you got, Ray?
Sounds good. Man, I love that message.
I'll tell you what, it's funny. Some of our YouTube people are saying, I could go through a wall right now and Hall of Fame person and Hall of Fame player. Absolutely. I am. I get interested talking about leadership with guys like him, who is the ultimate leader. Look, I'm just telling you from experience talking to players, not every player needs a leader or wants a leader or admits to having to be a follower. That's what fascinates me. That's why I ask the questions, and no better person than to ask it to. I'll tell you what, one of my most joyous things being at that golf outing is sitting back, and I've been lucky. I've played in it a couple times. I've been on the sidelines a couple times watching the likes of Brian Dawkins sit back and watch his former teammates do what they do. And he mentioned, a couple of them. And just be laughing his ass off. And the story, or we get breakfast before the golf outing. And, you'll have guys come in, McNabb and, all the players, and they'll sit down. And you just hear roaring laughter. It's kind of like what sports is all about as much as the wins and losses.
And it goes to show you a lot of what he means to those guys. The number of them that show up, the number of them that are up around him, that just want to be near him, just want to be a part of what he's doing, no matter what it is. And I think that goes to the leadership conversation,
Yeah.
They want to be there. They want to be around Brian Dawkins.
Well, it's funny. I've become friends with Brian Westbrook through the years. So when he was hitting at the range a couple years ago, I went over and said hi or whatever, and he introduced me to Lewis, tight end from BYU. What the hell's his first? Lewis? Chad Lewis. I'm sorry. So he introduced me to Chad Lewis. So we, just talking. I said, so are you in the area? He goes, no, I work at BYU where he went to college. And I said, oh, he goes, yeah, I flew in for this tournament. He goes, are you kidding me? Would never miss this in the world. And Westbrook was like, he's like, Bob, you don't understand, man. When Dawkins calls, you come. Like, it's like nothing else. And we all have that kind of relationship with people, but it is pretty special to see when you're talking about Brian Dawkins. All right. Drew in Honeybrook's going to be our last caller of the day. We'll get to him. Drew, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Drew?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing?
Doing great. How about you?
After listening to that Brian Dawkins interview, I'm fired up, but I love that guy. But I just wanted to come in and talk about the Phillies real quick. This whole schedule conversation has been bugging me. I am tired of hearing people talk about how the Phillies, well, we need to see a real test. I heard earlier that someone said that Ray is too young and he hasn't experienced pain as a Phillies fan, or hasn't experienced enough pain as a Phillies fan. I'm the same age as Ray, and I hate to disagree, but from about 2012 till 2022, the Phillies were the worst team in baseball almost every year up until we got Bryce Harper, and then they were, around average, didn't make the playoffs. I teared up when they made the playoffs in 2022 because I hadn't seen it since I was, 11, 12 years old, and I barely remember it that much. I am so invested in this team. I'm watching every single game, and I'm enjoying every single game, as everybody else should be. We haven't seen the Phillies team start like this ever. Enjoy it while you can, because it's gonna fade, and we're gonna go through struggles. I mean, I want everybody to enjoy it, and it just frustrates me hearing everybody saying, the schedule this, the schedule that. I don't know.
I agree with you, Drew. You got to look at it in a different way. Just enjoy the moment.
That's
it's
right,
easy to say, and when you sit deeper in the darkness of your house, maybe, and I'd say, "Oh God, those years hurt." Okay, get rid of that. Just enjoy what you got now. All right, Josh, we didn't get to a few text messages maybe today that we should run by the people. What do you got?
Yeah, it seems like everyone is on the side of enjoying the Phillies. Miz from Northeast, the Phillies, air quotes, fans are annoying me. They're actually winning games that in previous years they probably would have lost. They're doing exactly what they should be doing. Live in the moment and ride the wave.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Look, what's the line in the song? You don't know what you got until it's gone. It's an old Chicago song. You guys don't know. Pierce Terrace.
I know it is Counting Crows, Paved Paradise. All right, anyways. We got Joe from
I meant
Upper
to turn the mic off earlier, and look what happened.
We got Joe from Upper Darby saying, Cody Clemens, can he be a catcher and drop Garrett Stubbs down to minor leagues?
They're not getting rid of Stubbs. Sorry, I hear what you're saying. I think
they're not putting Cody Clemens behind the dish. He's very versatile, but I think that might be asking a little much of the guy.
We had somebody in this office today to say keep Clemens up here and get rid of somebody else. But I'm not going to say the guy whose name I butcher every once in a while in Whit Merrifield. Did I say that
you
out
said
loud?
it right. You said it right. Whit Merrifield.
I've said it right. I was just playing with you the one day I didn't play it right.
We
didn't get to that this week. Did we have it ready to go?
Oh, no. We've got it for tomorrow.
I'm not going to be here.
Well,
you can't make fun of me if I'm not here.
Fine. Next Friday, we'll have a loaded one. We might have to take the entire last hour of the show.
Nah, that's not right. That's just not right.
There could be mistakes by me. They're not. There could be, though.
Is there any by Amy? I don't think she made one.
No.
Is there any by Bill?
There's one by Bill.
And the rest is all me? Oh, my God. Guess what?
Well, I got to cut a few more today. I got the list somewhere over here.
Damn. That's cold. You're going to be a down one listener come whatever time you're going to do that tomorrow.
It's 1:30. By the way, Bob, I knocked that down. I don't know if you saw that.
Well, yeah, you folded it up. I had to throw a long piece of paper. I tried to float it through the air, and it didn't hit the trash can.
This was fun.
It was. We had a great time today. We've had a great week. We love you all. We thank you for listening. We hope that you have a safe, happy, be nice to each other kind of weekend because it's so much better that way. I am taking a little time off. I have off tomorrow. I took off, Monday's a holiday. I took off Tuesday also. So I won't see you till Wednesday, but join everybody else here until then. I'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Hope you have a great weekend, everybody.